Добро пожаловать. Good evening, everybody, to a bit of a more special stream in the middle of the week. And you might be wondering what this is today. Well, just to cut it short, we are officially cancelling the league, and all we're doing now is hosting Scrim Nights. So yeah, sorry to let all of you down. No more comp. It is officially cancelled. I'm ending it today. Of course not. No, this is just an idea we've had for quite a while that we are finally establishing on the big screen in hopefully also much better consistency. So we're hoping to do this every week, at least twice. So we've got a stream today and tomorrow planned out for you already. What this is now going to be exactly, as you can already see on your screen right in front of you, these are two teams that are not part of the league. This is a best of 5 also that we will call Scrim Night, an opportunity for two teams each day to play under DBDLeague supervision with our balancing, with our rule sets on the big screen on our Twitch. And anything else that has to be added now for all the formalities, because I've also not got all of them in mind. My dear, lovely co-caster that you've also already heard me with this last weekend, Direwolf, how about you introduce everybody formally to the overarching rules or organization that we've put into this?
Thank you so much, Mathis. Exciting to be here. Welcome, everyone. And yeah, as you heard, no more tournaments. We are taking a long holiday break. But yeah, we are going into Scrim Nights again. Wednesday is more dedicated to the American community, and Thursdays are dedicated to the European community. We are hosting some best of 5s, so we are going to have a lot of killers today. And actually, for today and tomorrow, the teams even agreed to play out all the 5 sets, regardless of a winner determined early. So even if it's going to be a 3-0, for example, we would still play set 4 and set 5 for the experience.
That's more ads for me.
That's exactly. And to go into some discussion as well. The great thing while we are playing on Season 9 balancing is that we are hosting the Scrim Nights on no delay, because obviously we are trusting Misery and Dead Future to not stream snipe. And honestly, if you would stream snipe in a Scrim Night, come on, ladies and gentlemen, no one would ever do that. So we would really like to be on no delay to also talk a little bit more to you, because we will see, for example, the Billy in the first set already recently updated and still a very controversial killer in competitive DBD. How strong is he actually? Is he S tier? Is he A tier? And we can use the stream today to get into some discussions with the chat as well. You can ask us a ton of questions, and for the first time we can answer them live and not with a message later on or in a ticket on the Discord server. So yeah, there's a lot of room for opportunity, I would say here. One other comment I will drop as well is since we're on a Scrim Night, we will not go into restarts in case there's one rule offending perk. The teams were advised to use the Season 9 balance, and they have put all their balances into our balance sheet, so there shouldn't be any balance offenses. But if there is, I don't know, a sprint burst that is not supposed to be there, we will not go into a restart. We will not enforce any penalties today. We are here to chill. We are here to chill. We are here to watch some competitive DBD. We are here to talk a little bit and to discuss a little bit. That's the goal for today. Going quickly through the killers and opening the first discussion maybe already. Billy, Wraith, Slinger, Doctor, and Plague. Honestly, a dream best of 5 for me. I love all these killers. But Mathis,
yeah.
Billy, you as a player for Oh Boy, very experienced, a long time in competitive DBD. Some people say Billy is S tier now. Some people say he's A tier. Some even thought him B tier. The correct standing of Billy is probably not figured out yet. What is your opinion about Billy in the comp setting?
As with practically any killer, it always comes down to map. So in my opinion, Bloodlodge would be a Billy-sided map. It is a map that you can have really good control over. His strength now is because of the overdrive that he essentially enters every third cross chainsaw, depending on how far he manages to get his pathing done or how quickly he manages to charge up the special ability. So Bloodlodge would be, in my opinion, for him to be an S tier killer on that map. It is guaranteed 4K unless the survivors either have a godly day or the Billy has several faults. What's the word that I'm looking for? Several lapses in judgment, exactly. So other than that, it should always be at least a 4K 1, 2, maybe even 3. I'm pretty sure we've already seen that this season as well. So high lethality on that killer, but then obviously there are other maps. Other maps that he would be much weaker on. Oh yeah, one of my favorite features also of the Scrim Night, obviously, is that we're live, there's no delay, so I see the chat, and the first thing I see is Matthias Buba. Yeah, and I just I can't control my laughter here. So yeah, Billy, it's really difficult to say. Currently, with the rules that we're putting him on and with the balancing, he would be an SD killer easily. I'm pretty sure he can. His overall stats should overpower those of Nurse and should be on par with Blight, roundabout there. But even Blight can have all 5 gens popped. Still with Suffocation Pit, it is a it's very biased towards the killer. And with Billy, it's just the map control that does all of it. It doesn't necessarily even have to be a 3 or 4 gen in the later stages of the game. If you manage to get your downs really quickly on near the start of the trial, then that snowballs so efficiently. And that is why this season, I believe he deserves to be among the S tier killers, or the... Yeah, I think that's also the ranking we go by on the server, correct?
Indeed.
Could be? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, Billy on Bloodlodge is definitely the strongest killer that we will see today, considering all of the competition that we have are A, B, Plague is up there as well, and then Wraith, Slinger, Doctor are part of the lower tiers. Definitely the strongest killer we'll see today, and overall should always be, should be the scariest killer to go against, considering how quickly the game can turn around. No other killer has the one-shot potential that we see in the league, other than Billy. I mean, he's the only chainsaw killer in this year's pool as well, and therefore just this mobility that combined with Nurse and Blight, essentially, plus the lethality with the one-shot chainsaw, he absolutely deserves to be up there, and should always be stronger than Spirit, in my opinion, too. Currently.
Yeah, Spirit had a hard time in comp, and then when they added this very, very clear audio cue and made it so easy to track her, even though, well, she's phasing, that really, really bumped her down. And I also feel like Spirit was very, like, we had this time in the competitive scene where it was so S tier based. So it was always Nurse, Spirit, Blight. A lot of people developed counter strategies, and then we went a little bit like 2022. We went a little bit more into this M1 orientated comp setting, and since we are in this setting, we have been playing more of Doctor, Demogorgon, and others, and Spirit was then a little bit left out, but still, as soon as she was coming up again, it was really, really a hard time for her, since we had all the counter strategies and all of that. We are going into the first trial here, and that's going to be the first chase coming out. We are going to see the first injury as well, and we can only hope that this is going to be longer chase right here. We are going to see the first down coming through. That's going to be a very quick down onto Finesse here. Not the best start for the Survivor team. On the other hand, we talked about it, Billy can be S tier, so it's definitely not the worst one.
Yeah, we were all caught up in that Hillbilly discussion earlier. We haven't even spoken about the teams today. So, we've already seen the logos on the Smash stream when we started the stream. One of them you should obviously all recognize, considering how many previous tournaments of DBDL they have participated in. Team Misery, of course, currently being represented by Numinous on the killer side against their survivors of Team Dead Future. A team name that I've so far not heard of yet, so they're absolutely here to demonstrate their abilities that they have accumulated in their practice sessions to build up for this very matchup. So yeah, on the survival side, you can already see Jinxie, Finesse, Hamdan, and Moss. What I also, considering this is also the NA Scrim Night that we have, first of all on Wednesday today, and the European side tomorrow. One of these players sticks out to me, especially Hamdan, one that I have, or that many of you have probably seen a lot in the past, but might not have been completely aware of. Hamdan was a player on Team Instadodge way back in time. And Team Instadodge was, interestingly enough, the first team to win a DBDLeague season. So they won back-to-back season 1, 2, and 3. Oh yeah, how long ago was that? It was over half a decade, I'm pretty sure. I mean, you can just count it down. Like, we're in season 9 now, and DBDLeague has existed for 6 to 7. No, we had our birthday recently. It's the 6th now, correct?
We are celebrating the 6th birthday on June 23rd, so we're very close. Finesse,
right.
Finesse just about to get fully killed here, but he does get grabbed and is dead. Yes, thank God there's a decisive strike. Otherwise, I would have said that's a very unfortunate finish right here, but we do get a little bit of distance. Numi, however, immediately going after the survivor. You really want the tunnel out. You want to bump it down to a 3v1 after that. You play a completely different game on the side of the killer. Finesse dropping the pallet here, trying to make it a little bit harder for the Billy to curve around. Numi doesn't really care, is not really impressed. Instead, just taking out the pallet here, going over to the next one. This one is broken as well, and luckily Finesse finds another window. A nice curve, but unfortunately not able to go forward all the way onto the back of Finesse. Finesse, is there another pallet? That's going to be the interesting question here. We do make another turn, and that's going to be the 3rd generator coming out, but even though it was a good run for a champion, Finesse is now going to leave the trial, and that's going to be the first elimination coming through. However, the other 3 survivors still healthy, so there's no possibility for a quick M1. We have seen quite some gen pressure being spread. Even this hill generator here has a lot of progress as well, around the 50% mark. So Numi should get into the next chase relatively quickly. Seems like that's not going to be an issue here. The bamboozle will help as well, but we also need it quicker down here.
Billy is also a bit different when it comes to the 3v1 stage of the game. He's not as completely unbeatable as other killers would be. For example, Dread, that's one of the killers where once you're in a 3v1, have fun. That's basically impossible to beat. And with Hillbilly, considering the map that we're on, you still have the ability to pre-leave a lot of your generators and preemptively build up a lot of distance. Beautiful dodge by Jinxie also manages to beat out the chainsaw. Doesn't make it around from the pallet. He does! Nunu is forced to break the pallet, and now, sadly, because of the engraving, that decreases the charge up side here. Another juke by Jinxie manages to somehow outmaneuver Numinous' chainsaw twice back to back, and is now has to be satisfied now by a mere M1, or as Royalists would say back in the day, take the ME1. And that's only going to be injury for now. Always a huge setback for the Hillbilly, because you simply grab a survivor sprint burst and you don't get the down. Unlike this now, Nos gets curved and annihilated around the dumpster and will be put immediately on the hook right next to her. Pop goes Louisel afterwards. Once more, Furthers will be able to apply said perk on the Shack generator as the penultimate generator already pops. And that shows how powerful or how important chases are against Hillbilly. We just had Vinci make it out of that corner on the... don't exactly even know the name of the tire, but one that actually has a rather safe pallet, not as good obviously as a paladin, but still made it out of the corner, forces VM1, doesn't go down just yet, and that is a huge setback for Hillbilly, since all he depends on is this fast mobility and the ability to catch survivors off guard so efficiently and secure downs early on in chases and even avoid them entirely. Jinxie proving that wrong completely, and adds to the discussion, or decide the discussion that would rather see Hillbilly in the A tier. As Hamdan is now running out of resources, the bamboozle also going to remove the window from the discussion with Chase, and Hamdan will be put on the hook. It's going to be another pop goes freezer, and it now all comes down to whether or not Numinous reads the correct generator, and it does seem like it. Sprint straight over to Shaq. Should allow Numinous to get another pop. Goes the Weasel Peak on a generator, but our survivors are currently doubling. One survivor in takes the down, and Tamden still on hook. Jinxie goes down, but the last generator is popped. Usually quite a nice win condition for our upcoming survivor team. For our killer in the next trial, because all he needs to do now is secure the 3-gen and manage to get a 4K. Numinous unfortunately wasn't able to get it, or to get the generator interrupted in time. Is now forced into 1v1, but it is seemingly quite hopeless as Nose is the only person last standing with already injured, and most survivors outside not be able to get the picks in time, and it's not all just a matter of time when Lost goes down. Really beautiful flick attempt by Luminous, but it's sadly not going to connect just yet.
Wow, what an endgame run by Numi here. Jinxie going down was pretty much sealing the deal. Hamden is just vibing on the hook there. That's going to be now the next stage on the nose as well. And we do not even need to find Jinxie necessarily, because we changed the bleed out rules for Season 9. And even if the fresh survivor is now bleeding out, you get all 3 stages and the fresh hook as well. Hamden being eliminated right there. That's going to be the same for Nos. Will we find Jinxie? That's going to be the question. And the answer is yes. So we even finish it very, very clean with 12 stages right here. I know a couple of people that will be very proud onto Numi, and we can only sign that basically. That was an opener for a Scrim Night here, a fantastic Billy game 4K. And you talked about the win condition, really, really great setup. The other survivor team now needs to worry about getting an out, which is always relatively difficult. We have just seen, especially the Billy with the high mobility, you can just go on an end game run. You can just go slug everyone and go and collect your 4K. So really, really good work right here. Ladies and gentlemen, we will quickly hop on a short break to set something up in the background and switch the sides. Other breaks, we will definitely stay with you. We will have a little bit of a chat, but here for the beginning, we need to guide the teams a little bit. We need to set up some stuff. So this first trial, we will definitely go on a break, and we will see you in just a moment for the second trial. All right, everyone, welcome back. We are here for some chatting, and I would actually like to ask on the behalf of the event management team of DBDLeague, which is 2 people. The event management team, I would like to ask, what is your so far impression from Season 9? I would just like to get this question out there. Today we have a chance to sit here together. You have a chance to ask us some stuff. You have to give us some feedback. We can also maybe ask an additional follow-up question, because sometimes we receive feedback and we are unsure, how do you really mean that? So I just put that question out there. If we're looking on Season 9 so far, event-wise, production-wise, anything that you would like to get out. Considering this is my first season watching, I can say I love it so far. That's great.
But he's an Oboy fan, so he's biased because I'm casting.
Okay. Then we will schedule you on every upcoming match as well. Okay. There's map intro by We1 was dope. I laugh. I think I shouldn't say this officially, but I love some comments whenever the map intro video is played, because we all know that We1 did this joke about being bold. And in the first, I watched the VOD again of the first stream when we showed this the first time we showed this video, and someone said in chat, "Is this We1 explaining his hairdresser about Cold Tower?" And I couldn't stop laughing. It was the best comment.
Then you grow an afro, and then you get the haircut of just the Cold Tower building on top of your hair.
Yeah. I love the artworks by Arla. Arla is a big shout out to Arla. Very, very great. How does it feel to be goated?
Yeah, how does it feel?
So this is directed to me. I don't really feel goated. A lot of you actually.
He's so humble.
this might sound like the typical cringe what you always say, but actually like a lot of people say like this is so great what you set up, etc. And then it's 80 people in the background, and I think it's very easy for me to make the announcements, and on Discord people see me making the announcement, and that triggers that people think, yeah, he's running DBDL, he's doing so much, and there's probably getting some work in, yeah, but it's so many people in the background. So yeah, bring back Twin Set. No, under no conditions we are bringing back the Twins, and we are back. We are back.
Bring back the Twin Set. Ready, Borgo.
Oh, nice. Right, this is getting out of hand. Let's focus really on Jinxie. Ducky, G-Bot, Cheese, and Abby are out. Ladies and gentlemen, and Abby going down. Mathis, this is a horrible start.
You know, I thought for a second the Crouch allowed her to dodge then, but I'm pretty sure Jinxie got... You know, it kind of looked like back in... way back in the day that... or addressing all the OG players of 2018 before that, when Hillbilly, when he ended his chainsaw, and the moment he ended, then he immediately turns to the left or right, and it still had a hitbox. That is something that people used to take advantage of way back in the day, and apparently that also had a bit of a return when Hillbilly was reworked. And it did kind of look like that's exactly what Jinxie was good, because the chainsaw was over, and then this last swing of the chainsaw, where it's like the ending animation, it looked like that down Abby. So that is an amazingly quick start into this trial, and that is exactly what Jinxie needs if he wants to manage to secure this 4K. On at least one generator left. He needs the nails quickly, and so does the Hillbilly. It is all about getting these guns quickly, and also we see a tremendously different build from the last trial guy. You see it on the perk side, there's one perk that's, or two perks even, that stand out to me, and even on the add-on side. Because this time it's all about the Thompson Nick instead of, I'm pretty sure it was a yellow turning out on last time, which is also extremely popular among Hillbilly players, because it just allows you to get those extra turns around childs, and sometimes even cut them a bit closer and land hits. Overall, also just great for map mobility. If you're going for one of those longer chainsaws, you know, the initial turn has incredible turn rate, and then it slows down tremendously, but with turning add-ons, it does help out, it does make quite a big difference. And now Jinxie opting to go for the T-Mix, so whenever the chainsaw ends, of course, there's going to be a less cooldown for Jinxie to once again be able to interact with his M1 or Ento. Second whip already in place, and it is also going to be another turnaround, just like in the last game.
Yeah, very great by Abby though, considering that we had the first down after, I don't know, 4.5 seconds into the game. This was a very long delay of the second hook stage, and we do not even go into the deep wound here because Jinxie is coming back a little bit too early. It seems like we're switching onto G-Bot here, so also not the tunnel out strategy. Never mind, now we are going for the toxic slug here that's going to get us some minus reps on the Steam profile afterwards. Is he able to delay this a little bit? We talked about we really need all the generators at least to go for the tie condition. The second one coming out, but Abby with the DS delaying it one more time here, waited it out to use it later on Jinxie. Will they go after Abby? Will they go for the tunnel out or take the hook stage on G-Bot? And I do think Misery would happily take the stage on G-Bot here, because that's 2 minutes of hang time. You're still 4 survivors in the map, and you can go for so much split pressure onto the generators. So really a turning point here, and a little bit of a comeback for Team Misery after a difficult start. Using the chainsaw once more to work on the generators a little bit, but when we are talking about the generator setup, we need to consider there's the Hex Ruin, and a lot of generators, at least 3 of the 4 standing generators, are relatively close, spread around this hook here. So standing in the middle, guarding G-Bot, who is not allowed to use the anti-camp mechanic to unhook himself, and having the mobility to go for the generators is definitely a huge potential here for Jinxie. However, Misery with a perfectly timed unhook. Now we are back on the run. G-Bot and Abby both injured. We haven't seen Abby in a longer time, so she's definitely making sure that she's not getting eliminated here. Back over towards this one. Ace casually vibing in the pallet here with a very great stun. This looks like the Survivor team gaining more and more confidence here, and it might that they don't even cleanse the ruin intentionally here, because the pop would be far more punishing.
Oh, that's the successful ground threat. So that's exactly what we just saw on Ducky. We saw that the crowd right behind the pallet allowed the hitbox not to connect and flying right past our ace players back. Ducky managed to dodge quite literally a bullet, or a painful, I guess, in that case. He's still on the prowl for another down, manages to catch Chase off guard. And gotta tell you, last game we had a tunnel out on our survivor, also with the EBS. This time the same thing happening practically. However, Abby managed to escape for now. So this survivor is not going to be told out just yet, and Jinxie will now opt to go for individual hook stages if he does not manage to find Abby in the near future to enforce a 3-1. And this really depends on the pop goes to Weasel's procs every time. And Bill player will be in chase. Gbod bites the dust to the M1 as our player was already injured. And our killer will not be forced to use the chainsaw and depend on landing a curve. It is going to be 2 survivors on Death Hook now. So this is going to be more options for our killer. Who to go for? 1 generator still remaining. However, 4 people standing. Not very sure if our killer can actually get past the tiebreaker condition. Right now it is looking like a survivor win, in my opinion. We just have to see if our survivors manage to get another den pop. What I also find quite admirable is that both of our survivor teams have been able to pop 3 gens off the first phase. That is something I'm not familiar with playing with my team, so hats off to these players here. A curve goes wrong, and that is going to give Ducky a window of opportunity to go for a save. Barely manages to get the body block here with the face kid borrow time. Sprintbot comes in, will allow Gbot to make some more distance. Our killer will not go for the tunnel out here again, despite the fact that our Bill would already be one shot at this point, has no layer of protection, and instead just gonna go for the fresh Ducky here.
We are watching Gbot trying to stay alive. What is his next mission? That's going to be the join on the generator right here. Trying to escape now. We are going to see Cheese getting ready on the exit gate. If I saw that right back to Jinxie here. It's going to be now the rotation back towards the shack. Gbot needs to waste a little bit of time together with Ducky here. We are in chase with our fresh hook, but all of that would not really come in clutch because it doesn't matter talking about how many hook stages we can get. We do need a 4K on maximum 1 additional generator, and that's going to be the down right here onto Cheese. That's going to be the second hook stage onto that survivor. I really feel like our killer is getting punished for the fact that we haven't seen the tunnel out following Abby earlier and then losing her after the decisive strike, or allowing her to get away with that, and then Abby staying really hidden and basically having the survivor team constantly playing with 4 survivors. That is a whole different game. You need to imagine that, ladies and gentlemen, if we have 3 survivors, one of them is going down, they are on hook, one of them is responsible for the unhook, and the third one will already be in the next chase. So at that point, you have 0 generator progress, but when you play in a 4v1, there's still 1 additional survivor that can go for a generator, even if you got a hook stage and even if you already chase another survivor. And that's why in competitive Dead by Daylight, it's really, really important to cut 1 survivor as quick as possible. Jinxie, unfortunately, didn't succeed doing that here. And I do feel like we do see the punishment for that. The survivor team has a great pressure across the generator. They are even going for some locker jukes here, and you cannot go for the pick because you're worried about that final generator. Now is the big question: will it be a tie, or will it be an escape by the survivor teams, and therefore the first set point by Team Misery? Mathis, what do you think?
I think that basement Baba enthusiast was right. Exile skin equals juke, but we do see the down just now. And one thing that I also thought was really funny when you used the word clutch when Jinxie was chasing Cheese, and that's a DVD challenge in one of the most recent times, so that made me chuckle, because there's one challenge called Zorino Cassia Clutch. So Zorino Cassia, laugh, come on, it's funny. Yeah, we actually do manage to get 3 people. Oh, come on, Dyer. We managed to get 3 people out of the gates here. Unbelievable results. Hatch opens in the background for the extra swag points. Jinxie does not need to look at explosions because that's not what cool people do. Yeah, 3 out. That is impressive. Exactly what our survivors of Team Misery required as a 4K on 0 usually does not suffice in Hillbilly sets. So yeah, that's set number 1, done and over, and that is a set point going straight into Misery's bank account as of today. We'll be able to take up some larger credits in the future. But yeah, that concludes set number 1, and our second set, let me find my Google Doc, where are my notes? Hello, there they are. Dre from Dead Dog Saloon is going to be the next one. And the best thing is I don't even need to outro you now, because we're not going into a break. You're staying here for more Dire and Madness Q&A. Q&A. It's not an R.
Q&A, yeah. So
Questions
if you still
responses.
if you still have questions about Season 9, then drop that. If you have any feedback about Season 9, if you have any other question, for example, I don't know, are you celebrating birthday in
Merry
DBDLeague?
Christmas,
I don't know.
Dire.
Merry Christmas. Wait, what? Has Pop always been allowed on Billy? No. The answer is yes. Billy had a discussion about certain perks since they're in the S tier, but the S tier killers, if I remember the balance committee discussion correctly, it was more about combinations like Pain Res, Grim Embrace, about perks like this. Pop Goes to Weasel was always something we were allowing. The reason for that is that the killer needs to earn the Pop Goes to Weasel, such as Pain Res, for example, but you need to still take the time to go for a specific generator. You still take a little bit of travel time. There's a tactical aspect to it. What generator do you kick? And therefore, the rule committee decided that Pop Goes to Weasel is a very interesting perk, where we can learn a lot also from the killer's POV about the tactical decision making. So Pop Goes to Weasel is a perk that is even allowed on the S tier. Also, shout out to the teams in the background. They are already setting up the next game here really, really fast.
Dire, another question coming in for you. Is it true Dire is 6'7"?
What is 6'7"?
Yeah.
One second.
That is 6 is 182 and 7.25 is 15, so that's like
6'7". That's more than 2 meters.
I mean, yeah, you are, right?
Nee. I
No,
will
you
tell
said
you a
something
story.
about being 2'6", no? So yeah, there you go.
No.
Dire is 206 centimeters.
No.
For anyone that was wondering, he is considered
actually-
one of the giants among the world, and whatever he's saying right now, trying to disagree with me, is just him being humble as always. You know what it's like.
Wait.
So yeah, basement Bob enthusiast, that is your question ratified.
I'm about to expose myself. There was actually, I tried to cheat when I picked up my passport in the state office. I'm 179, and I hate being 179.
Okay, now he's lying, so let's move on to the next question. No, go on.
And the person in the state office, like when she collected all my data, she asked, how tall are you? And I said 180 because I wanted 180 in my passport.
Obviously, yeah.
But we know German administration, German offices, everything needs to be detailed. Everything has rules. And she looked at me and she was like, I would like to measure that. And I was like, I am 180. And she was like, yeah, still, we have something on the back. Stand there at the wall. Let's measure that. And then I had to stand there and she was like, it's 179 actually. I was like, are you serious? And now in my passport is 179. And every time I'm going through a passport control and I have to look at it, I'm molding about this woman. It's expiring in 2 years. So I have a new chance to try and lie myself on 1 meter 80. Maybe it's more successful.
You know, for me, it's a curse and a blessing because I'm exactly 182, which is exactly 6'0" in English, and no one's gonna believe me.
Oh yeah.
Everyone's gonna say, yeah, you're 5'11", you're just lying. But
Oh,
now,
sure. Yeah,
listen, guys, if I
understand.
wear my Tims, I'm like 187, and if I stand on my money, I'm 2 meters 50. So, gosh. Dire, come on. Yes, that's a self-portrait. Yeah, we're both 5'10". In your opinion, is laser or laser better? Well, one has a cooler letter in it, so... And the other one's
the Y makes everything a little bit cooler. It's the same when people create the most random usernames like Potato Head or something like this, and then they add an X at the end. And when you're Potato Head X 2000 something, then you're cool out of nowhere. But we're already going. Yeah, we're already going into the next trial, ladies and gentlemen. So again, shout out to the teams. Short waiting time. Trial number 3 is coming out, and we are having Finesse again on the Wraith, Dead Dog Saloon, Ducky, G-Bot, Abby, and Cheese. Dead Dog Saloon, a map I love so much. There's this abusive main building where you can go for body blocks, where you can go for long chases. On the other hand, you need to be careful about the gallows area. Like, Dead Dog Saloon for me is the perfect mix of safety and risk. How do you feel about this map, Mathis?
Okay, it's really funny that you asked me that because of my history in comp, you know, the first killer game I ever played, Flick full of right around the time. Do you remember what do you know what I'm referencing here?
Yes, I do.
Yes!
And I regret my question.
Oh hell yeah. You know, it's gotta be good if you start off your first game and you don't even know what a stage is, playing against Oracle. Also, no, I gotta say, I'm in love with the names of of the players on Team Dead Future. Right now, we're looking at Finesse. There's also a player called Fancy. There's a player called Cookie. What could go wrong, realistically? Yeah, Finesse getting a stage very early into the game. The Unuk comes in quite quickly, and for the people immediately to deny any chance, or at least make it more difficult, for a tunnel out, but it doesn't seem like Finesse is interested in a tunnel anytime soon, regardless, as Abby will be continuing to be in chase. This pallet has not been dropped yet. We don't see a wind here, and it's still enough to catch up, and the Swift Hunt add-on going to allow Finesse to once again bring out the flip bullet. You see a pallet save attempt as well, but it's so difficult to get a pallet stun or pallet save whenever the killer is body blocking. And I speak from experience, for the record. It was literally only last week that I learned how to actually do that. And I've been playing since 2016, or like COM for almost, yeah, over 3 years now. So yeah, it's difficult to do, but quite easy to learn if you've got 2 bodies of yours in a custom game for you that are willing to practice it with you. Yeah, it will be Ace once again, in the words of Basement Bomber Enthusiast. It is X-Ice Jake, they have to be Jukes. Even though I don't think Ace ever, or X-Ice ever wears those trousers, does he? Everybody brings the DLC and the P3, because it's just arguably by far the best skins. But I'm a bit worried about those trousers, my guy. Ducky, you need to buy a fresh new pair. They're only 7,200 shards. Come on, you got them. Anyway, he's now being forced into the corner. Finesse has no worries downing Ducky now, as there are no tiles available, or all the ones that are around are extremely weak and very unsafe pallets. As long as he didn't reach the one that's currently on the right of Finesse, the only tile that is slightly longer, and otherwise it's all just looping around rocks. Yeah, you're making that sound now. Yeah, the sudden 90-degree turn, but managed to somehow still get Ducky on the hook back of main. No tiles nearby. It is a hook that is a bit easier to tunnel on if tunnel around once the killer comes back or decides to interrupt. That was a very quick Yannick. You know, I've already introduced it, so let me kick with the term I coined. The altruistic availability is incredible on our team Misery on the Survivor side, and they're doing really well getting these Onyx through extremely early on. Now Killer manages to consistently lose the Survivor even too, but this time it all depends on whether or not Cheese gets the body block here. And of course they body block each other. It's to be expected in a tight corridor. Smallest bit of miscommunication or the smallest bit of distrust in your teammate can cause exactly that. So yeah, usually what my team likes doing is that you sort of play the gatekeeper of it, so you always stand back whenever your survivor tries to double back 50 times on it, and only if the killer actually commits to one side, then you shut it down by walking in front of him. And it's still really difficult to manage to do so successfully on a tournament in front of so many viewers in a small corridor like that. So extremely unfortunate on our survivor side, but Finesse is going to profit entirely from it, and we'll now be able to snowball further into the later stages of the game, finding another injured survivor, hoping to get a quick down in the corner of the map.
Yeah, Gbot needs to have a run for the champions here. I'm a little bit worried about the generators. We have that early elimination, 3v1 with 2 generators standing. Gbot going into the good old comp corner, where you always get the flames in a public chat match, where the killers are insulting you for using this strategy, but Gbot is abusing it right here, trying to waste as much time as possible, and Misery really needs that. We have 2 generators close together here with not the biggest amount of progress. One of them is still regressing. Good news, the other 2 generators are towards the shack and towards the gallows area, so we kind of have a 2-2 setup here, but immediately going back towards the main building. That's going to be now the chase with Gbot into the main building. We do get the vault coming out, and that's going to be a little bit of a distance, but not much. Immediately going down here as well, and we are staying on the favorite hook on Finesse, right behind the main building, right behind on the very easy tunnel out hook, and that's going to be 6 stages for the killer so far. 2 gens standing. Will they be able to do that? We already see the blood pools on the main building. There's our injured survivor Abby, and if that's going to be a quick down, then this would be Cheese all alone for themselves, and Abby doesn't even make a huge distance here. We also have an information about the final standing survivor. This might turn into a slug and a very quick 4K right here. Good fake by Finesse, getting the whiff out by Finesse. That might be just enough time for Cheese coming behind the main building and actually unhooking Gbot, and that's the time here. This is what we talk about sometimes. You get one window fake and it's just 7-8 seconds that are coming out of it, but sometimes these 7-8 seconds can make a huge difference. You do get another save and you have the chance to go for a recovery play. Finesse trying to work around the window here a little bit using Bamboozle eventually, but it's not going to stop Cheese so far. We are making it over towards the next pallet. Actually talking too soon here. We are playing a little bit of Minecraft instead of hitting the survivor. Cheese now taking the injury, and the survivors start dragging away from each other, trying to increase the distance and making it more difficult for Finesse to chain the pressure together. However, Gbot back into chase here, and that's not going to be enough distance for the pallet. I'm talking too soon again because they are juicing it up. Very nice, but it's still going to end in a 4K. I feel bad for our survivor team.
My guy's mining wood and he brought a wooden axe. No one crafts that, guys. Come on. If you get your tools at the start, go for a stone pickaxe, and only then do you go for tools. Okay, it's just a waste of resources. Don't bring no wooden axes whenever you join my online multiplayer. You're getting banned. Anyway, Finesse now trying to find more survivors. Another lunge goes away, unfortunately. Just love these add-ons. They're so much fun. That's just why watching Wraith is so much fun in DBDLeague also, because practically all of the strongest add-ons are allowed. The only one that's realistically missing would be the purple all-seeing for the aura reading whenever the Wraith is in cloak mode. But Swift Hunt and Shadow Dance, it's just so much fun to play with. It's so fluent, and everybody knows who plays a lot of Wraith in pubs, me being one of those people. And you see the potential that comes from it. People oftentimes underestimate how powerful the swing out of a cloak is, but with the Swift Hunt, you lose much less distance whenever you're closing in on a survivor, as the time frame of you being stuck in your uncloak animation is so much smaller, and that allows you to not lose as much distance, and then you can just fling your weapon right out of that cloak, and with the extra gained momentum, you can swing right around the tile, as we saw earlier in the trial. Abby trying to play the game of reaction time here fails miserably, and will go down on the extremely unsafe pallet in the middle, where it's really stun or not to stun, that is the question. And we see the Cassia clutch once again is going to fake the window. Only has a bit of basic borrow time left for now, but Finesse is just going to opt to go for the zoned bot in the corner. Now here's Cheese behind him, and is obviously going to be the perfect opportunity to switch targets, fling around the tile, immediately run back into Gbot that went in to take the Metal of Manhood that he was definitely accumulating throughout the trial. Source, I made it up. And Finesse still on the run here right after Gbot. It is unequivocally going to be the final chase of this trial. There is 0 to no chance that our survivors manage to come back from this despite this incredible greed, but it is barely not going to suffice for Gbot, and that is going to be the ultimate final down of the trial, and we will see a 4K on one generator remaining, a result that I can't even say is scarce really, because we have seen 4Ks on Wraith numerous times in the league, and it really comes to show with how strong our two purple islands are in the bottom left corner, and also the pain res being allowed. It's a huge difference of having pain resonance and pop goes the weasel. People might say, well, you can at least use pop goes for as long as you get stages throughout the trial. But it's just so much nicer having pain res because you don't have to spend all the time walking over to the gen, then actually holding space down on the gen to kick it, and only then you go back to your chases. Pain res so much stronger, not despite the fact it's 5% currently, as the meta is. It's about to change anyway with the upcoming Vector update or Dungeons and Dragons, where most people are also thinking it's going to be a Beholder, but no, it's Vecna to complete the Stranger Things chapter, sort of, as well. But yeah, the pain res only 20%, pop 25 of the current progress, but it's still so much better as it's also more intermediate. You don't have to pray that survivors don't pop the generator in time by the time you get there. It's just hook, boom, progress gone immediately, and it's just so much cleaner to use. Even though you can only use it 4 times a game, but it does make a huge difference, especially why you also nowadays see in nurse sets, what my team also did against Venom, against Team Sinners, where you AAA generator on 5 gens left, you just want that first gen out of the game as fast as possible, hoping that you pop that generator the moment the killer goes for the pain res and the effect basically gets nullified. And having a generator against nurse popped before the last gen, or before the first hook comes through, is crucial.
Yeah, I think what you touched on about the perks was really important, right? You're playing a completely different game depending on also having the survivors having access to the strong perks. Wraith is handled as one of the lowest tiers in DBDL. The survivors don't have access to any form of recovery. The survivors don't have access to a decisive strike, to an off-the-record. The head-on is allowed to allow a little bit of juicing on the lockers of that. You don't have a sprint burst to work at the gallows area and make it out of it. You don't have a balanced landing to work on gallows and make it out of it. And it shows the power of the survivor perks also when we talk about how can you either just a little bit keep up with the killer or even bully the killer. And I feel like the current mode that we have in DBD, this Chaos Shuffle, is really showing that as well. I mean, in 90% of your public matches on the high MMR, you're going against the same 4 to 7, 8 killer perks. And the killer, if you would make screenshots of the survivor builds, you would go against, how many are they? Maximum 10 survivor perks that are spreading throughout most of the builds in the high MMR. And as soon as you're not having these 10 perks or 12 perks that are always coming out, it's a completely different game. And yeah, I'm really interested to see now, since they launched their program with the game consultants that are giving a little bit more of insight about the balance, if this is going to change. Because my honest opinion, and now we go into discussion a little bit, is that when you consider that you have a game with 33 killers or 36 killers at this point, first of all, I find it really problematic that we have some killers that are S+ tier and some are Freddy and Trapper. I mean, this alone is a big problem. But the fact that we have, and now I need help, how many survivor perks do we have? More than 200 probably, right? Fact that we have 200 plus survivor perks, and on high MMR in your pubs you only see, I don't know, the same 12 perks, this 12 to 14 perks every game. The fact that 180 perks are considered to be useless is problematic, isn't it? Chat, talk to me. Mathis, what's your opinion on this?
Okay, I'm googling it. So 1 year ago, there were... you know, it's always funny. That's probably very relatable to a lot of people watching. Whenever you have a question, you enter your question and then you put Reddit after, because there's some guy that asks you questions about your question about 10 years ago, and then you get the perfect response to it. So I did that, and the first thing that pops up anyway is Reddit, and I get how many survivor perks are in the game right now. 1 year ago, 119. So we're probably nearing 150 by now, only on Survivor side. Yeah, most of them are just way too situational. There are some... Well, there are a lot of perks, the ones that are obviously, for many good reasons, meta, because they activate every single game, and there's obviously the front runners exhaustion perks. You can always activate them no matter what. The only one you kinda have to force is probably Smash Hit, but even head-on, 140 perks and 261 in chat, thank you. And even head-on is one that you can still very consistently pull off. I think the perks are even becoming more diverse recently, and it's not... Still, if you want to optimize, there's still 4 perks that you can bring any game. So, DS and Off the Record, probably the 2 strongest, besides the exhaustion perks. Just the anti-tunnel aspect. And then there are also a lot of generator perks that can help. So, if you have a teammate that's godlike when it comes to skill checks, Hyper Focus can basically halve gen times. If you just bring a toolbox at the start, because that ups your chances of getting skill checks tremendously anyway. It can only be a brown toolbox as well, it doesn't even matter. If you just bring that and have Hyper Focus on, and you'll already have 5 or 6 stacks within 5 seconds, or not 5, but let's say 10, and then that gen is just gone immediately. If you manage to get every great skill check, there's a lot of potential, which is why Hyper Focus is usually also seen whenever it's not banned in tournaments, very consistently on survivor builds. But yeah, that's also where comp becomes much more interesting, because we don't do 2 of each anymore since 2021 is when that started to establish. And before that, comp looked just like pubs do today, when people try to be extremely optimal or bring the strongest stuff available, or meta would be most efficient tactic available, yeah. Which is, or back then, it was just DS, DH, BT, and Adrenaline, yeah. So you just try to keep everybody alive, and once the last generator pops, which is going to be very quickly, as there's usually 1 guy in phase and then 3 people on gens, then everybody's healthy immediately, and everybody's free to run, because of the 6-second sprint burst that you get, which has only now been nerfed as well. So Adrenaline was, until that point, one of the most absolute favorite perks in the game, mine as well, always used it, and now it's getting changed, so I'm being forced by friends to become a Hope liker as well. So yeah, that's where it's been going recently. But still, Off the Record is unavoidable in pubs. It's just too strong whenever it's on builds, so there's no reason not to run it either. There's only upsides to it. Which is why I also find it quite interesting with Vecna coming out, that they're actually introducing a perk that has a downside to it, and everybody immediately bad-mouthed it, because just bring bamboos that don't have a downside. So maybe in the near future we'll see updates go in that direction. Also amazing. Last picks here by Gbot, as True Talent would say back in the day, just the tip. And that's going to be Jinxie going down to 12 generators remaining. Exactly what Gbot needs if he wants to mimic the snowball and the early pressure from our killer last trial. And it is now up to our survivors to get past the 2 generator mark if they wish to score another set point.
Good start once again by Gbot, setting up a very intense match right here. I will quickly, while we're watching the next chase, reply to 2 other questions that were asked in chat earlier. One was, will you make a 2nd division in DBDLeague where you can rank up and rank down? So this concept was definitely on our mind, kind of like football. You have 10 teams in League 1, 10 teams in League 2, and at the end the teams 8, 9 and 10 move down to the 2nd league, and the 1st, 2nd and 3rd from the 2nd league are moving up. Would be very, very interesting. I would love it. There are 2 problems with it. The first problem is that we are a volunteer-based org, so not gonna lie, we have 80 people, but setting up the weekend streams is already bringing us to our limits sometimes. Because most of our people are working from Monday to Friday, then they have the weekend off, and the weekend they spend with setting up DBDL. This is not meant to be help, we are overworked, but it's something to take into consideration. And of course, a 2nd league would be double the resources. You would need to post the information, you would need to take care of the balancing, you would need to take care of the streams. all kind of that. So this would be one tricky thing. The second one is we have very inconsistent teams in competitive Dead by Daylight. That's the problem. Like sometimes from Winter Circuit to Season 9, we already have teams disbanding. We have different rosters with new players. We see at the moment, for example, how Tremor has taken some players of X9. They will probably reform into X9, then Tremor will be a completely different roster. And when we are thinking about a quarter of a year in competitive Dead by Daylight, this is actually a long time. And there would be so many roster switches and so many team adjustments that it would not be a consistent ranking up and down anymore. And instead, a team would rank down, but then participate next season with a half different roster. So these are the two problems we see, and at the moment we would like to focus the main event we are doing, which is the high quality top team gameplay. However, we are working on the All Hallows League already, and we are trying to keep in mind that there are a lot of teams who would like to play DBDLeague. That's all I will say for now.
That's why there's gonna be 256 teams.
Yeah, exactly. They will bring back the community cup. The other question was
what
what
is
is
happening?
happening.
Of 128.
The other question was what's happening with Painrest when the PTB goes live. Unfortunately, I cannot give you any answer on that. This will be on the rule committee led by Laser. They will get together, they will have a discussion, and then we will hear what they decide. But balanced is not really something I can tell you about right now. Baba will make a return, hopefully, for the All Hallows League. But back to our gameplay. We have G-Bot downing Finesse, going on a streak when it comes to pressure here, going with the next tag onto Nose. And we do need the 4K with 2 gens standing to take the win here. Mathis, how optimistic are you that the killer can reach that?
Well, our killer already has a kill on 3 generators remaining, and if I recall correctly, then that is potentially even better than what our killer had in the previous trial. We see that Painter is having put in quite a number on our survivor team, still has 2 stacks left even. Finesse just now Finesse was the second Painrest, or the second individual in completely bullied out of existence, tunneled out. Hamdan tastes straight through this incredibly don't want to say unsafe window, but it's rather unfun because you never see where anyone is on it, and it's therefore sort of luck-based. We hear Nos, our also another fellow tournament host, on the generator upstairs, injured, so it won't be difficult for G-Bot to miss our survivor moaning in pain from upstairs. And now it all comes down to this extremely risky hit tank in the middle of the map. We see Finesse dodging or scouring away last second as our survivor has or would have been very close to losing the endurance status effect, and then will just be slugged in the middle of the map as Nos is tried to be caught off guard by G-Bot upstairs in main. Decided to go with a different approach this time. G-Bot has consistently gone from as soon as he got up the stairs, turned right, this time turned left, hoping to surprise Nos and get an easy, quick down on top of main, which would have rendered our survivor team would have left them off with 2 survivors injured, or 2 survivors on the ground with 3 generators remaining, which would have practically already spelled game over. It's now up to Nos if she manages to reach the extremely unsafe pallet, but no, doesn't even manage to get the drop through. Either was caught off, or either the animation was cut off short there, or Nos was hoping that if she just holds W, then the killer might have swung early to basically destroy our survivor through the pallet with ping, or just barely makes it to the other side. But killer was still able to get the lunge across and connect to Nos, and then will be the next one to take hits in front of the main building, as we don't exactly know where Finesses must be working on one of these corner generators, but there's no sound anywhere nearby. Probably went to the windmill / water tower in the corner, because realistically that's the only generator an injured ace could do. So yep, that is exactly where Finesse will be spotted. Does not make it to the pallet, now has to play the game of 50-50s. wins the first one at least. Gbot still struggling a bit on the smaller house. Holds W around and Finis leaves it at a perfect timing. Manages to get to the L window, doesn't vault it either. Manages to get to the T and incredibly unfurled himself. Incredibly well played by our ace player, and Basin Bubba enthusiast in chat jinxed it. Yeah, Exo skin. Oh yeah, I'm just now realizing he's actually using the default recolor of the default skin recolor of the recolor. That's what I was doing. So
Yes,
not
it's ranking.
DLC content.
This is crazy. Finesse is playing out of his mind. Remember, we saw him on the water tower injured, and then he went to this little shit shack behind the windmill. And then after that, he was looping his way all the way back towards the main building. Absolutely crazy here. And this did so much for the team. I wouldn't be surprised if we do see a lot of generator progress coming out. Going down here in the pallet does make me believe we will have a pallet save coming out here. Hamden being close by, but it's not going to be enough. Hamden playing a little bit of pallet enjoyer here and dropping it early. Finesse is going into the second hook stage as well. Good so far that the Survivor team is not losing another team member, but we will need 2 additional generators here to at least go for the tie, and for that we need to speed it up a little bit. Nose going to take the next hit going into the main building as well. All of them are injured, so we might consider going for a full reset here. Unfortunately, there's always one survivor in the chase, making the window at least here. That's the advantage when you're playing an A to an A. From an A to EU, this might have been one of the most disgusting hits in the history of Behavior Interactive, but we are moving back towards the main street. That's going to be a quick down right here, and there was another survivor close by, and we are actually going for the slug here, being a little bit more dangerous, being a little bit more pressuring onto the generators. Ace is leaving as well. Finesse, can he go for another very intense chase? Earlier here, Ace has really impressed us, but unfortunately the resources are getting lower and lower. Jumping over the pallet here to block the Wraith from breaking it, and I think now even for God Looper Finesse, the run comes to an end here.
No, I just realized something. That's going to be something that hardly anyone will recognize. But the skin that Finesse is running is from the... Oh, that's... I think 2021-22. There was this GIF that was quite popular where it was Jordi Rex on Huntress, underdoxing against Julian on Ace, also the well-known NA player. And he was using exactly this skin, where he dropped the pallet, Jordi Rex raised the hat, and then Julian just looked straight at the camera POV and looked incredibly funny. So maybe that might be an homage to it. Finesse, you're gonna have to tell us after if I just hit the nail on that with that one. Which would also make sense since Hamdan is also an NA legend, or has played for a very long time for his region. And we see Nos now, the last person standing, the last Neo in chase. Nos is going to go down here, however, as Gbot has practically already gotten rid of every single resource available. And on the backside of mine, there's practically nothing you can do anyway, unless you manage to somehow get the stun and smash it on the pallet, or a teammate comes in and sooner or later rescues you with a body block. But of course, at this stage of the game, that is going to be impossible, and we see a back-to-back 4K on the with Wraith, with still generators remaining. So I hope I paid attention properly. This should be a 2-0 for Misery now. Yes?
Yeah, that's the 2-0 for
that was
Misery
4K2,
coming out with... Yeah, very insane gameplay here by our killers, 4King each other left and right on the Wraith. Definitely so interesting. Wraith is handled to be such a low-tier killer, but with the right restrictions and the right map, he can really start shining. And actually, for the statistic friends, Wraith is one of the most often 4K appearing, realizing killer, whatever. My grammar is not on point. But Achieving killer, thank you. That was the word I was looking for. Ladies and gentlemen, we casted 3 trials in a row. We casted 3 breaks in a row. Not that this is a big achievement, but I'm closer to the 30 now than to the 20, so I'm turning quite old. So I definitely need to ask for a break here. Please give old man a little break, and we will see you in just a few moments when we are loading into the third set. Yeah, basically, but when you are closer to 30 than to 20, then
Yeah. But are you?
It does something with you, huh?
But I thought you were 1 year older than me only.
Hey, now I'm closer than.
Okay.
So we hop on a short break, ladies and gentlemen, and we will see you for the third set in just a moment.
With a perfectly timed swing into the trial, hello everybody and welcome back to set number 3 between Misery and Dead Future. We'll now see a Ducky representing Team Misery on the killer side against our 4 survivors from Team Dead Future. Hamdan, Finesse, Jinxie and Nos, the exact same roster we've seen every trial up until so far. And not only are we going to the Deathslinger set, we're also doing a small experiment that I've had on my mind for quite a while now regarding to casting, because this trial is going to be solo casted by yours truly, and please do not hesitate on giving feedback, because this is something I've always wanted to try as well and sort of get it into the direction that football also does it. So yeah, let's go everybody. You see Ducky on a beautifully timed head-on in the middle of the main building into the firecracker. That's going to incapacitate our dear Deathslinger Ducky for quite a while. We see a Finesse on the ace. In the middle, trying to avoid the shot. Ducky goes for the fake, but Finesse is not going to fall for it anytime soon. Manages to run right into the kill, however. It's going to be an M1, so now perfect window of opportunity for... Hello, Hamdan. You were not the person I was talking about. For Ducky to try to get a quick shot, which is usually the desired outcome of a Deathslinger chase. We get it quick, early, out of position, M1, and connected with a shot for the down right after. Hamdan completely zoned in the corner. Ducky on Hamdan on the rock, and there's no toll nearby. Maybe a tank. No, it's just going to be hugging the rock in the corner until the inevitable down comes through with a bloodlust number 1. First down comes through, Hamdan will stay slugged in the corner. Ducky still trying to find a survivor in the middle. Spots a blue shirt in the corner. Days seems to be continuing with the lead that is Renato. And it is that pretty Jinxie perfectly timed shot onto our survivor. It's going to be the down, the lunge, around. Also really interesting to see on the perks, which I haven't even highlighted so far yet. We see the 9 escapes there for the endgame, and Ruin and Forced Hesitation. So Forced Hesitation, for people that don't know, it's rather a less popular perk that still ends up being picked quite sometimes in a comp setting. It's basically going to make your, usually, or what it is directed as, it makes your tunneling much more efficient. And as someone runs in, you take the hit on them, and then if a trade comes through and you manage to get the down on the person that goes in for the trade, your person that has just been unhooked will be slowed down tremendously. And especially with a Deathslinger that can just wait out the borrowed time and then just shoot last second, and then also just keep the survivor spared on the harpoon, waits for the BT, and the down comes through. Ducky is also using the strength of this map quite amazingly here, because this is exactly the same way that also Azor's resting place functions, where you have this bottleneck in the middle essentially, where all the tiles and therefore also on the map funnels down in the middle, and there's only so much space that you need to cover, and you can basically just look from one direction across to the other and see any survivor that dares cross for the unhook. He's also making an attempt, but it's going to be the hit with the harpoon. Just makes it away for now. Ducky seems less interested in our Nia player. Makes it over to main. He is an ace on the generator. No, he's instead just going to head back over to the water tower shack side of the map, trying to secure this death onto Jinxie, which would put our killer Ducky into an utmost promising position. Bam misses Nos for now. It is not going to be the snipe. Ducky goes for the quick reload through Warden's keys, the add-on that makes the recharge so quicker. And then a lot of footsteps in the middle. Another spam misses on the window. Ducky gets his ballista cocked and ready for another shot. He's training to be part of the rune army. Oh, the full leg comes through, but it's not going to be the hit just yet. Jinxie, however, will now bite the dust on the hook, and that is going to be the hook penetrating Team Dead Future's heart, as Ducky is getting his flaming spear with the harpoon gun ready, but it's not going to be the sling or the shot just yet. It is going to be another one similar in the style that I explained it near the start of the trial, where this is usually the desired outcome for Slinger. Jinxie now perished 3v1 and forced, and we have 3 injured survivors on the run. What their mission has been in the meantime is that all the 3 gens are removed. We're here an injured knee in the corner here. Ducky knows so exactly as well. And all that remains is a tile that can only be hugged, ran around. As Russians also like calling it licking the tile, staying as close to it as possible. That is a very literal translation, so they don't. It doesn't carry the same semantic meaning. Just a fun fact. Still only 3 stages into the trial, so this only now the 4th stage of the game. Not as necessary to spread out these hooks as pain resonance wasn't brought into the trial. But yeah, this is a very deep hook location, very difficult for our survivors to try to get the undergun. And a semi 3-gen still exists on this side of the map. We have a straight line here, so if Ducky was playing the artist, then this would be quite promising. Pretty sure we had some footsteps there as well. Might have been Ducky's own. They're trying to find a survivor. We see exactly what our survivors must attempt here, pushing into this side of the map, doing the generator in the corner on the other side of Shack. Somewhat protected by the tiles nearby. All that Ducky has to do now is land the snipe on any of these survivors, as they're still both injured. And I believe quite far split from another as well. Trying to use the heal now for the gained height. Oh no, we do actually see both survivors manage to make it. Oh, but we see a killer slowly approaching in the corner. Finesse will be healed, Hamdun not yet. And Nos is certainly dying on this hook right here, as both survivors are now blocked in on this side of the map. We're probably not going to see another head on here, as that would have most likely triggered Ducky's PTSD, but immediately pushes through the pallet as well, just like he pushes through his anxiety of another possible head on in this corner. We haven't seen Ham done in a while, actually. Survivor might have just gone to the other side and get Nos off the hook in a timely manner. I don't see a Jake attempting to cross in the corner. Finesse going for a very early drop, does not want to be spared on this pallet. Oh, perfect timing here by Ducky. Once again, the bottleneck feature of this map checks it perfectly. Now knows exactly where both sides are. Pushes Hamden as far away as possible from this corner oak to get the secured kill onto Nos. Ducky most likely expecting or knowing where both of our survivors are. And that will be Hamdan found once more, both injured, so either only need to have, oh no, it is Finesse in fact, both of which only have to have one shot landed on them. Ducky makes the attempt, does manage to hit Team Dead Future right in the heart. That is going to be the M1 down onto Finesse with Hamdan, the last man standing, and let's just hope Jake brought left behind, but obviously won't profit from it as much, but more of a third thing. Oh, hello, that's a blood pool. Well, that is going to solidify it. A 4K on 2. Fake does not want to get head on again here, so instead just opts to go for the reload. Fake gets the quick grab onto Hamdan, and an incredible 4K on 2 generators remaining by our dear Deathslinger player Ducky. manages to get an incredible win kill for his team Misery in the upcoming survival trial of their respective side. And this could just be a very clean 3-0 sweep for Team Misery, but do not be worried, everybody. We do have a best of 5 scheduled, and no matter the result, we will play out all 5 sets tonight. So even if the matchup ends in a 3-0 in a clean sweep, there is still going to be gameplay continuing after this for the purpose of experience and practice for the teams, and also as they've already been granted this stage on DBDLeague, it shouldn't go to waste, even if they have a more experienced, more powerful, sometimes even luckier opponent. So we wish not to take that away from them, and they will get their chance. As the game is ending, it's the best time now to get your jokes in. Yeah, exactly. Savannah already preparing the chat for it. Can we get some people happy in chat for the Scrim Night? Everybody, come on. Give me some people happy.
People happy.
Oh, there he's back. Not the only person here. We have fair amount of stuff still missing in the stat. Yeah, Mega Dirt, there we go. You're getting modded for that, buddy. Okay, so I'm gonna DC a hand then. Yes.
Oh,
hello. Oh yeah, DBD Mobile.
Yeah, a letter for DBDLeague Mobile, DBD Mobile. I gotta say, you are the first person that comes to my mind that has ever asked about DBD Mobile. It would be interesting to set something up like this if we have a ton of people being interested like this in some sort of a community on mobile. I have no idea how many people on the DBDL server are playing mobile, so yeah. But this would be interesting. If you know a lot of people, then have them raid my DMs.
I'm pretty sure the only time there's ever been a mobile tournament was with this invitational for content creators. If you've heard of that before.
True, there was this one tournament, right? Where they
well, I have also seen
and
YouTube videos with just mobile comp players doing tournaments, but I have also seen one with actual content creators.
But they never did it again, right? It was at the beginning of mobile to make it.
It was a one-time thing, yeah.
To make it. Oh, okay.
Get it more popularized, I assume. Yeah.
Well, but if we have a lot of mobile enjoyers, then, ladies and gentlemen, join the general chat and spam hashtag mobile ladder.
Ladder, yeah.
Not a question, but thanks for providing us with the great content. Also not a question, but thank you for being such a great viewer, audience member, supporter.
What a people in chat
just
right
a big
now,
thank you for the great
Fox.
job. Thank you so much. That picture is beautiful. If you mean Math is bunny, yes, it is. We have a baby.
Give us a
Ming
people
Fin.
happy.
People are not happy.
Yeah, the people are not happy.
It's DBD comp after all. It's DVD comp after all. There's no
give me
happy.
a people happy, Sinister Fox. You know this guy, like the P-E-E-P-O capital H-A-P-P-Y. Oh no, I said it. I said P-P. GG. Put a bunny.
Do either of you cast this stream? I streamed the last time 3 years ago.
Yeah, same for me.
And yeah, no, we don't. We have Reoxium
really
is
should,
streaming from our casting team. You should stream your Baba again.
Yeah, I know.
What tourney was the trauma tech done in?
That's one thing I want to point out, because that's also something a person asked earlier about the trauma tech thing. I'm completely serious. In my 3 years, and also like the years of watching comp before I started playing, I have never seen the trauma tech be pulled off successfully. The only time it ever came close was 2 occasions. One, when Xeno played against Trauma, and it was basically popularized or coined in the first place. which is why it's called Chromatech in Xeno's best competitive nurse performance video. Most of the people have seen it anyway. So that's the only time it got close, and then there's another, which also happened this season in DBDLeague by my team. I forgot against who it was. It might have been Sinners. And oh yeah, it was Dead Dog, and it was High Ping, so it must have been Sinners. I don't remember. Oh no, Singularity, yeah. And we would have got it, but my team was very unsure, considering with Ping, usually the way you want to do it is, if you want to pull it off perfectly, is when the bar or the dying state bar completely runs out. Because there's only a couple frames where the bar can be gone, but the person's still alive. It's the same for a lot of people have maybe seen it with Mend as well. So the bar can disappear, but you can still run around, or you haven't died yet. But the moment you let go shift, you immediately die. That's exactly what you want to set up for the trauma tech as well, respectively. But my team didn't dare to, because we thought that Ping would play a big role in it. And we almost pulled it off on... or the way we tried to do it is one guy ran in, almost, or bleed out, completely gone, tries to get the unhook, the killer, and once the survivor, he goes down, bleeds out immediately on the ground, and the survivor gets hatch. But it was barely not enough, and the killer was able to pick the person up. So yeah, it's always a matter of milliseconds when it comes down to that. It's never been pulled off successfully. If you want to see the, yeah, it's in Xeno's video, exactly. It's the, my best competitive nurse performance video. You'll find it immediately, it has over 40k views. That's where it was ever the closest, or done successfully. Also, like, showing off the best with also the strat where you want the person that you want to escape with hatch just hides, and the other person that's almost about to bleed out, that person just does gens. Because either you pop the gen, or the killer downs the survivor and the hatch opens immediately, because the survivor just dies on the ground. So yeah, that's the closest you will ever see it. It's never been pulled off successfully, and I'm still waiting, but I've never seen anyone do it successfully. Yeah, it was on Ronaldo, yeah. Exactly, with the unhook on Dead Dog Saloon in the middle hook. And we had hatch on the shack right next to it, so it was like a 10-meter bolt. The moment the survivor goes down, he's out. So yeah, that's why we had it. I've never watched Tens. I don't watch tournaments outside of DBDLeague, so I don't even know. So maybe. I've never seen it.
This is something I really should change sometimes as well, to get a little bit of inspiration and stuff, but I don't watch anything. I think I watched the Hens Spring Invitational in the grand final for one set, and then I already had to do something again, and I was really sad because it was actually a really interesting it was a really interesting grand final, but I unfortunately never made it, and I regret it a lot. But yeah, but we are already going into the next trial, so we're finishing off set number 3. We had a very, very intense first match here with the Slinger. We had a 4K on 3 generators remaining, and in case you noticed, the live score sheet was not always perfectly updated.
That's my fault.
Which was a little bit my fault.
No, it was mine.
But yeah. The thing was, I'm on the live score sheet duty next to casting, and I was like, okay, Mathis is doing solo cast experiment. You can go and eat something. And I was like, I didn't forget anything. And then I came back and I was like, the live score sheet, no one is taking it. Yeah, so sorry that there was no update in the previous trial. Jinxie on the killer again, Ducky, G-Bot, Abby, and Cheese are on the survivor side, and we are so ready for this next trial here. Will it be a 3-0 for Misery? Will they be able to go for 4 gens, or are we going to see Dead Future making a comeback? Mathis, what's your call on this?
I will win. Immediately going for the head-on stun into the firecracker. The exact same thing we also saw in the previous trial on main building. Not entirely sure about this earlier play. I think it's a bit of wasted potential because he could have saved that up for later and saved a teammate. I think we just got locate there. No, it's the clutch Cassia once more. It's Cheese being spotted at map. And Jinxie is trying his absolute hardest to set up the cigar proc here. So, when he stun for as long into the pallet. Hello, enduring, I guess. Jinxie bringing 5 perks. That's a new one for me. Okay. So the only way I can explain that, thank you for the people happy Sony. The only way I can explain that is the cigar, because it also just cut down on the cooldown. Maybe that affected the pallet. And Cheese will be sniped immediately after. First to get the bug on the pallet stun, interestingly enough, and then a snipe right onto Cheese. That's exactly what you want to see with the Deathslinger for the quick downs. Also bringing one of my favorite perks on the killer side for in a scenario with... Oh, but no way! It was a head-on save! That's also something I've never seen before, but always dreamt of. Someone actually positioned their head on next to the hook, anticipated the hook that the player was going for, and head on the sniper straight off the shoulder. Amazingly played. Never ever seen a head-on save in a tournament. I've seen it in scrims before, but never in a tournament, especially not in DBDLeague. Absolutely astonishing. Very well played by our survivor team. That was beautiful. Never seen before. As I was talking about Rancor, and this is where Rancor also pops off. You get the not R rating, not a scream, but position reveal. I don't even know exactly what they call it in the perk. It's just so much different. But yeah, this position reveal that you get on all 4 survivors for every generator hopped can be so helpful for killers like the Deathslinger that has to play on a large map and can't control aura reading with, let's say, barbecue, because it's not allowed anyway. Because aura reading is culturally and historically banned in comp settings, so this is the closest thing that you can ever get to it, and it can help out so tremendously. Jinxie, yeah, Jinxie will always know where all survivors are throughout the trial. And the greed comes in. Down also
we are seeing some juice coming out from our survivor team. First down at 2 generators already being completed. So wonderfully played. And Jinxie still, even though the match looks quite rough, when we talk about taking care of the survivor team and not allowing them to take too much pressure, we have seen some wonderful snipes. So a very entertaining trial so far. We have spotted 1 survivor here in the midsection. I do believe that was Ducky already setting up for the unhook onto Cheese. We're going a little bit around here, trying to go for the shot, but it's not going to be successful. We do need to follow Ducky. Actually, a second survivor has already rotated to the bottom as well, so Cheese is now unhooked. This generator here will receive a 5% regression, but is still very close to completion. Great setup by Team Misery. So far, they are definitely not joking here in this Scrim Night and showing us their full potential that they have available. G-Bot being there behind the shack, potentially assisting Cheese in case Jinxie decides to go for that tunnel out, but instead we're going to check again on the midsection because 1 survivor of Misery has already rotated back towards the gen. Jinxie breaking the pallet, making sure that the survivors have fewer resources to work with, and also the locks generator is already close to completion, at least 60% in this generator. Survivors also leaving really early, making it difficult for a 4.4 killer to catch up to them, and all this running after the survivors definitely costs a lot of time. I really love what Misery is showing us, a little bit of greed there, but Misery can definitely afford that. They have all the pressure it takes at the moment. Only 1 more generator and they would take the 3rd set as well here. Misery seems to play themselves into such a dynamic, and there it is, officially confirmed, 3rd set point going to Misery here. Absolute insane trial from them here.
Might it be the DBDLeague experience that is putting them at the advantage in this matchup here, as Misery have practically played, I think, almost at least every second. Wow. At least every second tournament on that DBDLeague has provided the community with. Tries to get the lunge around, but Ducky has too much distance from Jinxie. I almost said Jinky earlier because there's this one cartoon where the character says Jinky instead of a person. So I think it is. The lunge comes, maybe someone in chat would like to refresh my memory on that. The lunge comes through on Ducky and it's 5 generators popped, and only now does the 2nd stage come through to the bank account of Jinxie here. Yeah, I was just gonna go with Hook for now. Doesn't want to risk another head-on save. That really destroyed the game for Killer. He was about to get Hook in the middle of the map, and then the head-on comes through. Cheeky player with the cheekiest player I've seen all day so far. So absolutely astonishing. I was waiting, hoping at some point I could finally see a head-on save. Because, yeah, you know, my team's that way. Whenever it's creative stuff like that, they say, no, play optimal, don't go for that. But, I mean, where else for the Scrim Night to get things like that? And you get an incredibly funny and clickable moment. And this is also where the the tunnel ability of the Deathslinger comes through, because what he can do now is there's no 12 in between. Oh, he didn't go for the hit. Might just be not in time for our killer to... Oh, he managed to steal the ace here. I don't exactly know what the timer's like. Maybe it's based made exactly so you can't hold the survivor and then lunge at the end to secure the down. Maybe there's still endurance left. But yeah, Jinxie manages to connect the shot right after the body block by G-Bot will not be successful, and Jinxie gets a hit deeper into the map. It doesn't look like our survivors will really stand a chance here at being the saving grace for Ducky on the Hook, as both of the gates are around the main building. And that is going to be set number 3 concluded so far with a 3-0 score between both teams. Or as Goldberg would say, it's 3-0. Unbelievable. But yeah, really great performances so far by Team Misery, and it really comes to show that they have had the opportunity to play in a DBDLeague or two in the past.
Now it's time for the Shockter.
Yes, the Russian killer, patented by that region. No one else can play him. Yeah, that's also always something fun. It's really interesting to see. Oh yeah, that's even more interesting now because we're seeing 2 NA teams. And that's usually a region where the Doctor himself isn't as established. It sounds weird to say, but that killer is very region dependent, and for some reason he's just that one killer that was picked up especially by the Eastern European region, especially by the Russians, and where he was perfected. So yeah, I mean, he's been buffed tremendously in the past, especially now after the quality of life update came through for the killers, or the last patch. So yeah, it's going to be even more interesting now to see the gameplay approach, because usually what the Russians do is where it really comes down to milliseconds, and every mistake is punished completely, and you play for your first hook, and then 3 gens pop. That's usually how the doc games go, and then it's all about handling endgame. So yeah, this is going to be really interesting to see now with 2 North American teams playing the killer.
I love the Doctor in a competitive setting, I must say as well, to just go into a little bit of laugh talk here, but Doctor, for me, I love to see the survivors playing together, because on a lot of killers you see on Oni, for example, you won't see any body blocks. On the S tier you won't see body blocks. And Doctor, since he's able to eliminate the resources when he's timing the shocks correctly, you need a lot more body blocks early on in the trial already. And usually on M1 killers, on a Demogorgon, for example, you can watch the survivor and you see, okay, he has this pallet, he will chain that to Jack, afterwards he will go back to this jungle gym, and then comes the moment where you say, aha, now the pallets are gone, now we will see a body block, and then you can almost anticipate it. And on the Doctor, you cannot plan with the pallets anymore, and it creates a little bit of chaos. So the communication, it needs to increase, the survivor team needs to be much more coordinated. What am I watching when I watch G-Bot's skin right now? Stay tuned for what we are loading in with, because this is absolute juice right there. What is that, Dwight? That is Dwight. What is this Dwight?
I see his fresh guy is coming from vacation. He's here to juke.
What is that?
He's off vacation. He's here to juke, my man.
What
and
is
people on the stream can't even see
Dwight?
it. He's wearing the yeah, I don't. It's the short pants from the Hooked on Me thing. If you have the game, then you get that. I know that. Then he's wearing a Hawaiian shirt, button up, open, and under that there's a white shirt with a pineapple on it, and he has the flower crest or wreath around his neck, and he's wearing sunglasses with a bad bandana of the American flag. That's like screaming surfer boy and patriotic Hawaiian at the same time. Oh no, that's like a no. That's the continental American tourist going to Hawaii for the first time and being on vacation. That's what that is. And he thinks he's blending in.
I've seen so many skins, and I've seen so many comp players when the game was decided or something going for a juicy skin and
quite
coming
literally
up
because
with
he's got
something.
pineapple on the
But
shirt.
this Dwight, I've not seen it, guys. We are loading in. We have to show you. I hope we are getting into first chase with Dwight here. This is just absolute fashion right there. I know we are teasing you right now a little bit. But yeah, this is really, really fun. Fourth set, ladies and gentlemen, Doctor, we are loading in. Again, big shout out to Misery and That Future. We saw a little bit of questions earlier. What are the teams winning? Nothing. It's a scrim night, so we ask the teams, would you like to play on DBDL stage tonight? Would you like to showcase your team? Would you like to take the scrim and the experience? But that deserves a big shout out because both teams are really prepared. They are playing really well and really entertaining. They are setting up the lobbies fast. They haven't made a balance offense yet, even though we don't check for we wouldn't restart and give a penalty. They don't have balance offenses, so both That Future and Misery deserving an absolute high W props, compliments, whatever we can throw at them. But definitely huge respect for these two teams. That's important to mention before we are going into the fourth set here. And there it is, Doctor coming out. Oh.
On the Coldwind Farm, the map that he was intended to be on.
I was just... Is this caster curse now? Because I just talked about how well prepared the teams are. And now they are setting the wrong...
you were building up for that, yeah.
We will quickly...
It's even funnier because the killer's name is Jinxie. Wow! It's all falling into place. The stars are aligning.
Yeah, we will. We will go with the correct map. Finesse says, "My bad. We will forgive him." Or we drag him in the caster VC and publicly shame him in front of everyone. This is something we should do. Maybe then the balance offenses are decreasing. Pulling the player who's committing the balance offense into the caster VC, and then in front of the entire DBDL audience, we are shaming the player that is responsible for the balance offense out. And knowing the community and how mean some comments can be in chat sometimes, I tell you, this player would never do a balance offense ever again. But yeah, we are loading back in. Let's hope that the Dwight is getting into the first chase here, because that skin, I'm telling you, I'm browsing the store, I'm playing so many different... I'm not playing many skins myself. I always play my boring Comcade. But I know so many skins, but I have never seen this Dwight. I'm telling you, I'm not even kidding. I haven't seen it. That's why I cracked up laughing so hard. If the teams are watching, please chase Dwight first. Okay. Finally, set number 4, this time on the red shop where we are supposed to be. Finesse for Team That Future coming in against the survivors of Team Misery. Again, Ducky, Gbot, Abby, and Cheese. Let's see what's going to happen. Where is our Dwight?
Exactly, that's all that he's the fan favorite. And yeah, with Doctor, that's a killer I can use quite a few words on, since this killer has very unique gameplay, considering with the tremendous amount of hits. If a Doctor plays the game perfectly, then essentially a survivor should never be able to get any window or pallet played properly. We see the shot comes through on Ducky. Also the purple discipline and the green range now after the update came in, where Doctor essentially gets... Ooh, that's exactly what we need to be doing against Doctor. Well played by us on the side. With the update basically granting the Doctor brown range and yellow discipline by default, making his shocks now so much stronger, and it will require tons of more hits early into the trial. And I'm also very happy that Doctor is on record top in this this season also, because Doctor just belongs on the green maps. He has to be used on Azeroth because there are so many tiles that he could have so much fun with. Amazing once again here by Beast, demonstrating exactly how you play this killer. You want the survivor that's in chase obviously should never be able to get a drop or on any of these pallets or get a stun, and then you want a second survivor assisting you in chase, out of range from the shock, so the survivor himself can't be shocked, and then ready to get the stun on the killer. Exactly what we saw there with Shack Pallet. Usually you only go for the shock, but again the stun there is so much better even. And we're seeing a very safe approach by our survivors. Usually you don't necessarily even have to drop those pallets. I see. There he is! I understand why in a tournament setting you would like, or looked! You would like to play a bit safer as well and get, as long as you get the pallets down and build up a wall and get as much distance between the Doctor and yourself. But if you don't drop the pallet and you play the tiles, there is a big fun aspect to it, especially if you find... Dyer's losing it over the skin. If you find one of those guard fillers in the middle, some players might know what I'm talking about, or some of the viewers, where you have this, basically just the filler in the middle. And what people used to like calling it, or old Doctor, is you're basically playing chess. It's all about perfecting your timing in that case and making the right move at any given time. Well, chess is less about timing and more about decision making and knowledge on the game, which is where Doctor also boils down into and gets to. So far we've seen very safe approaches here with the pallets being dropped very quickly. Usually it's either that, you play safe, you just get the pallets down and then you run around it in a circle and wait as much time as possible. But you can also try not dropping the pallet and playing the pallet actually, and just trying to get perfect timing by running around certain areas or fractions of a loop and trying to cut down time of the delay of your inability to interact with the environment to get the perfect timing where the Doctor can't shock you, you barely snap out and you manage to still get the pallet drop or the vault, etc. And that aspect of the kill is a lot of fun, which is mostly the style of play you will see with Eastern European teams, and where the Americans become much more safer because this is a killer that is quite simply not played as much in their region, and therefore they opt to go for a safer strategy, which oftentimes still outperforms the style of play of the Eastern Europeans. We've seen it from time to time in previous leagues where the Doctor was allowed and played quite often. Even my team got to go face to face against, I believe it was X9 back then, or Wispy's Doctor. Oh no, it was William's Doctor, because of course NAS ping against Europe. And that was also extremely close, but Rocket, with his incredible knowledge in particular, as he plays them constantly in 1v1s, was still able to get a 4 on 2 generators remaining, where my team only did 10 stages, which is quite a lot. Or for back then, it was quite a lot of stages that you gave this killer. Because if the survivors play perfectly, there's also nothing the Doctor can realistically do. And we're seeing similar approaches this game here with the pallets that they are utilizing perfectly for the support styles, or for the support accounts. But yeah, they are playing very safely, and it comes to show there's only 2 stages so far. Our Skiller opted to go for the camp and now has to commit to the tunnel out. Goes for the shock to not allow Ace to vault the pallets, but in the meantime, all gens are popping, and Abby is here for the hit, and this is where rapid brutality also comes from. No more blood loss, which is not very important for Doctor anyway, because he depends on his shocks, but successfully hitting a survivor with a basic attack grants him 5% haste every time for 10 seconds, and that is going to be huge. A blood lost 1 for every hit tank, and that is where the last generator already pops. Finesse quite behind on the survivor's pace here, and an incredible result already secured by our survivors. Finesse still committing to this survivor despite the knowledge, tries to force the grab last second. That would have been huge and would have cemented the three-stage result, and now it might be the alien instinct, the rapid brutality plus the knowledge that barely gives our killer enough hits to down Abby, and it is going to be a 2K 6 stages, as both of our survivors have already run into the gate and will be forced out. And I gave you no talk time at all this game, because I'm just so happy I get to see Doc.
It was beautiful to listen to. I loved the present. If only you had a PowerPoint with it and showed on some sheets and charts why exactly.
No, I'm actually quite good at those, and I animate those too. It's not just black font and white background.
The crazy thing is also how quick this trial went. Like, it was an absolute speed run by Misery. Survivors, Ducky and Abby, yeah, they are staying in the trial. It will be 6 stages right here, but this was so fast. They executed the generators. They didn't give the killer any chance to take some pressure onto them. G-Bot and Cheese moving out of the door as fresh stages. Unfortunately, we didn't see much of Vacation Dwight, but Rapid Brutality will add us some haste effect for now. That means we will not see a Bloodlust later on in the game, but for chasing down Finesse early on in the game, that's definitely a really, really good thing to do. Also, the Pain Rest, you don't really want to have too many hook stages at the start of the trial. Will Ace be able to throw the pallet? The answer is no, because a perfectly timed chop is coming out by Ducky, and there's no team member to take a hit, but Finesse does manage to make another turn here, wastes more time than we were expecting. So far, that should be at least some generator progress, but unfortunately it ultimately comes to an end, and with a win condition of only 5 stages, this is still a relative early down.
Yeah, and we also just saw how powerful these jungle gyms can be against Doctor. The moment he shocks, the survivor will still be able to either go for the pallet or for the window. So power becomes much less powerful on these stronger tiles where the survivor has multiple options of escaping mid-chase, and that was shown perfectly. But we also saw a perfect use of the power on the very first pallet where the first hit was acquired, because that's exactly what you want as Doctor. You want to get the hit through the pallet drop, and that's exactly what Ducky managed to get the Doctor. Haha, funny. Managed to also find him then on this pushing this generator, and Ducky is just going to use Pop Goes Dweezil on the 0.5% generator. Probably has no other option of using it anyway, so might as well go for it for good measures. But now can only kick the generator for another 7 times. And I'm also now only realizing how powerful this Rapid Brutality actually is on Doctor. Because this, as I also talked about it in the previous game, this is a killer that will, or should, never profit from Bloodlust, really. Because all he does is spam his ability mid-chase to deny the survivors of any action. And Rapid Brutality grants you this 5% haste. For body blocks, it's crucial, and also mid-chase, since you gain, or the survivor can't gain as much distance from you as you usually would without the perk, as you gain haste after that. So yeah, we just see Ducky harassing the generators in his vicinity for now, while camping Finesse to death. And a 3v1 is what you also need as Doctor. A 4v1 is nowhere near as manageable as a 3v1, because in a 4v1, I mean, in any aspect of the game, the survivor team will be much stronger. Doesn't even require much explanation beside the fact that also with 4 survivors up, that's 3 potential survivors taking hits, with the others only 2. And then there's also 1 more survivor doing gens, and basically just check at the very bottom of the multiple choice all of the above. That's what you need. That's basically the point with 4 survivors in contrast to 3. And I keep joking on my own spit. That's also just awesome. And yeah, as we see now, Finesse dying on hook. This is also, I believe, the first time we see Fancy on the survivor roster of team of Dead Future. That's the team, yes. So yeah, Ducky now still finally manages to get the 3v1, has a very promising 3-gen around basement, so this could not have been a more precarious position to go down in.
Yeah, what's going to happen on the side of Dead Future here? 3 healthy survivors, that's the good news. We have a lot of access to the generators. We have potentially a lot of pressure coming out here, but only 2 more stages. That means Jinxie, with a huge responsibility here, needs to go on a very, very good run. Has this 4 lane here. We celebrate a little bit with the firecracker, and unfortunately we are celebrating the injury coming out, because with this very, very good shock. That's going to be an injury onto Jinxie, and we stay at the 4 lane, and we do have the haste effect from Rapid Brutality. A little bit confused about this choice here by our survivor, because that's going to end up in a 2-tap, and we were just elaborating on how this survivor needs to go for a longer run here in order to get the completion of the 2 remaining generators. Unfortunately, we will only see 1, because I do believe it was not enough time to pop another one. Ducky has kind of a 3-gen setup there around the shack, but it is quite far. Therefore, we are deciding to go back and stay with Jinxie here. 6 stages would be the tie, so we would need to get another down here onto Jake. He knows that Fancy is responsible for unhooking Jinxie, so putting Hamden in chase means that no survivor is currently working on the generators. A little bit optimist swing here. Ducky losing a little bit of time. Hamden circling the outside of the loop, making the distance a little bit longer, but with this shot right here, it should seal the deal. That's going to be the next hook stage coming in. Keep in mind, 6 stages would also be enough if we are hooking 3 individual survivors, because after the first hook stage, completed generators, the second hook stage win condition, the second win condition being the hook stages by the killer, and the third one the individual hook stages. So 6 stages on 3 survivors would be enough to seal the win here for Misery, but we do need an additional stage for that. That means with Jinxie progressing into the second stage, we have 6 on 3 individual survivors, meaning that Misery is actually taking the 4-0 so far in this best of 5 here. Now, we do have 1 final set to play between Misery and Dead Future. That's going to be the Plague. Mathis, I hope Dead Future will show us a 4-1.
Well, there's no tree trick on Misery's roster, so it's looking not as precarious as it could. The 3-gen king is not playing tonight. You will see him again this weekend. But yeah, for now, this the fate of this set could already be sealed, despite the fact that there's still 2 survivors standing. But the moment Jinxie dies, that would be 7 stages and would already outperform the previous killer's performance. But our survivors might go in for the save here and at least tie on the stage requirement, not of course on the individual, but it would at least tie on the stage aspect. Fancy now finally in chase. I don't even know what the name of that character is. You know, that's something I'm quite proud of, to be honest, since, I mean, I could just look it up, but you know, there's this option on Steam where you can check your spendings, and turns out in the past 4 years I only spent 30 euros on DVD, or on Steam entirely. So I think that's quite a good stat, not putting money into this game, never buying DLCs, so no idea what this character is called. Maria, Sinister Fox, thank you very much. I was waiting for my saving grace in chat. Yeah, there we go. So yeah, no, that's not called that's better. Yeah, Ducky on should be able to get this down as well, which would solidify the 4 individual stages also. Doesn't manage to get to the Paladin time. Rapid Brutality is not going to grab anything here. Checks for the pallet save with the Static Blast. He does find a hand then nearby, only gets the medium vault, and it's going to be the injury. Ducky with a creative play here, hides behind the wall. Your Starva AFK tech. It's not going to help out, sadly, as Hamden takes a big turn, a big leap from the tile to stay out of the audible vicinity where Ducky can't hear Jake player any longer. Hamdan will run off with Jinxie, and they will hopefully have a romantic story and elope past the exit gate. Ducky is just going to claim the down, claim the pick up onto Fancy, and that is going to be a base rook. Most likely going to be the nail in the coffin for this trial, and a 9-stage performance for Ducky, statistically a 50% increase.
To celebrate the performance, we invited a good old friend of our killer. And celebrating the trial right here. Very, very good play by Misery. Really, really liking it. And 4-0 definitely so deserved here. 4-0 for Team Misery. Let's...
Oh, that was Crystal Palace Manchester United 4-0. Yeah. That's what that was.
Who did the duck soundboard? That was me, because I thought I would cook up something. Yeah, we're having Ducky on an interview. Yeah, Ducky, we agree. Very good try. We have one
Ducky, how are you feeling after this game? Could you give us a little bit of insight? Okay, and what do you think about using rapid brutality nowadays? You know, I've never seen it from that angle. Thank you very much for joining us for this quick and brief interview, but you still got to set the play, isn't that right? Yeah, exactly. So, head on back to your team and stop wasting your time with us here in the DC. Get back, you.
This is the kind of player interviews I love. We should make more like this. But yeah, we are cooking something, as you can tell. It's getting late in Europe. You can tell we are lacking sleep a little bit. Fifth set will be yeah, you slept 9 hours, you said.
Hell yeah.
You are actually on,
I mean, I do every night though. Optimize your sleep, gamers, and you're gonna be as good as me.
Optimizing sleep schedule and staying hydrated. Chat, if you are not hydrated, grab a glass of water. We will load into the final set of today. That's going to be the Plague on the Suffocation Pit. 4-0 for Misery so far. I have to say, absolutely stunning. A little bit of behind the scenes. Misery was very, very, very close of making it into Season 9. Do I have the old sheet still where we had these statistics? I do believe that is somewhere laying here.
This is if chat doesn't drink water. This is if chat does drink water.
We just invented. We just discovered the soundboard in Discord.
Well, I used it on the intro and I cast it for the first time this season. Do you remember?
True, yeah, I remember the victory horn or what it is. But we can. I would really hope that feud. Or what it is. I really hope that Dead Future is taking a set, because I feel like they deserve it. They have shown us very, very entertaining gameplay tonight. Deathslinger, for example, we have seen some very, very nice snipes. We've seen some nice strategies. The Billy game was really close. On Doctor, they were still trying to pull the coordinated. So you can definitely tell that Dead Future is a growing team at the moment, and also why we feel confirmed by inviting them to the Scrim Night, because we heard a lot about them from playing other organizations, and so far these were the first 4 sets they ever played in DBDLeague. I think it's safe to say Dead Future is a very entertaining team and has a lot of potential here. Misery, obviously, very, very experienced, has played multiple tournaments in the past in DBDL as well. I feel like this experience is definitely coming in clutch. Today, they are this one step ahead. They are able to execute their game plan a little bit more to the final detail. But yeah, this is really, really cool. Again, we want to host more Scrim Nights like this. Tomorrow we are having 2 European teams, and then in best case, always on Wednesday, the North American community, and on Thursdays, the European community. And the goal is really, we are aware, DBDL is very exclusive, especially this season. It's top 10 teams. We had, I believe, 55 to 60 applicants, and the chance, like, if you look on the top teams, you basically have 8 spots already decided in every tournament, because these are the good old Nightlight, the good old Xeno, and OD, and Daimao, Mathis. So you have like 8 out of 10 slots are most of the time decided immediately, and then you have like 55 applicants for 2 slots in the tournament. So we want to give a little bit more of a chance. I said it earlier, looking towards the Halloween tournament, we are trying to work on a system where we can allow some newer teams to play in DBDL, because we know a lot of teams would like to play here. It's the biggest stage. You have a production, you have casters. Okay, you have that in other orgs too. But yeah, so we are aware and we're trying to be a bit more inclusive there. So if you have a team, if you have an upcoming team, may it be North American region or Europe, and you think you would be a great team for the Scrim Night, that means you are willed to read our rules and the balancing, you are willed to be cooperative, setting up the lobbies fast, and you are a team that is motivated. We don't need you to be top tier. We don't need you to be mid tier yet. You can be in the state where you say, we are gaining experience right now. But if you bring that on the table, and if you're a motivated team and you think right now, I would like to play with my team in the Scrim Night next week or the upcoming week, then come into my DMs, please. Introduce your team. Tell me something about you. You can also message Savannah if you want to. That also works. Message one of us. Introduce your team. Tell us a little bit, who are you? Why? What motivates you? How much experience do you currently have? And then we will definitely consider you, and hopefully we will see you very, very soon right here in the Scrim Night. That's the goal. So don't hesitate. Come into mine or Savannah's DMs. It's more polite to say the other way around. Come into Savannah's or my DMs, and then introduce yourself, and yeah, then we can do it. And everyone who would like to make a team, come into the DBDLeague Discord server, open the channel looking for team, put your stats, fill out some applications that are posted there, and you will join a team very, very soon. Our community is very active. So, Ducky on the Killer Plague Suffocation Pit. We have the first injury already because Old Man is talking too much. Mathis, let's go.
You know, it's kind of a contradictory meme that we keep talking about, how these are up-and-coming teams, and one of them is literally called Dead Future. I think they kind of shoveled their own grave on that one. But yeah, regardless of that, we're now finally in the plague set. The 2 first inders have already come through. That is going to be a 10%, not 10%, that's old Thanos, or mid Thanos. But yeah, that's already 2 Thanos stacks. That's with it. And I also want to pick up on one of the things that was pointed out by Lady Leora in chat. How does one get experience when teams ask for more hours than you have? That's like the job market joke all over again. Yep. In essence, you are absolutely correct. If you want to play tournaments, you need comp experience. How do you get comp experience? If you play tournaments. So yeah, that's a nice little, I think it's bootstrap paradox. Yeah, that's what it's called. When something already exists in time, even though it never existed and was just made up at some point. But yeah, I'll just look it up if you need a more precise definition. I can't think of it on the spot right now, but I'm pretty sure it's called that. Ducky, in the meantime, has already been able to get the first down, and where else would it be but basement? So, with a pool on top, this is the dream start for Plague as well. It all really depends on how many generators are on this side of the map. Is it 3? Is it 4? Usually we've got 5 on the main building side if it's Volga or Tree-Trick playing. We've got 1, 2, 3, I think that should be... Turn around, please. Yeah, it does look like it, but they've got... the other generator is a bit more central-esque, so it's going to be difficult for Ducky to defend regardless. I think it's like before on this side actually, so that would be perfect if you can also just altogether avoid the main building, as obviously the tiles on the other side of the map are much unsafe. I know that should be 3 generators on that side. So yeah, he's got the classic 3 gen, so if our killer really would like to enforce it, then a 4k on 1 would already be set in stone, unless our Survivor killer tries to be, like, get a better result than that, or our Survivors play it quite plainly. Very unfortunate for Nancy, or for not on the Nancy, to go down near basement right from the get-go. Might have forgot about the positioning of basement, because it varies a lot with tournaments. I'm pretty sure we set our basement offerings, or if the killer can also choose, but in a lot of other tournaments you can always choose where you want your basement to be, and also with hatch as well. Some tournaments allow that you can pick your basement either in main building or in Jack, and others also allow that the same with hatch. So a Survivor might not have been aware of that at the moment of them going down. And now it's really difficult because Ducky is also taking advantage of this bottleneck feature of the map, patrolling these specifically these 2 gens to hold any Survivor that tries to cross to the other side of the map. And at this point, there is absolutely no realistic way that Nos can be rescued. Even if a Survivor has Sprint Burst level 5, that is not going to be the save anytime soon. And Ducky has been able to pressure this the complete other side of the map while a Survivor perishes on the hook, and now still has all these generators intact, yet to be repaired, and a Survivor dead.
That's unfortunate, losing a Survivor on 3 generators standing, because we also have Hamden still healthy and able to rotate for the potential unhook there, so that's really a loss for our survivor team right there. A little bit of triple and quadruple vaulting, but Finesse eventually going to take the down. Ducky now with the Pantimento as well. That's going to be 20% of slowdown on the generators right here. Fourth hook stage, already 1 elimination, 3 generators standing. Really, really strong game for the Plague. You mentioned it earlier, really setting themselves up for a good trial here. However, that Future, making the Future a little bit more alive by popping another generator right here, bumping it down to 2 generators to be completed, and a little bit of progress on the other 2. I'm afraid this one here next to the hook will unfortunately go into further regression, but we might bump it to 1 generator remaining very soon, so there's still a chance that the survivors make a comeback here.
Will be extremely difficult to do so. Realistically, or what most com players would say right now, what is the caster saying? This is 4K. But yeah, this is, again, a hook very far from all the remaining generators. It's difficult to say. They could be splitting on generators now, but that would be extremely risky to commit to, as Ducky might as well just go to the other side of the map, and then both survivors are isolated from one another. And the moment one survivor is interrupted off a generator, then that strategy would already fall apart, as 2 generators could not pop at the same time. But I can imagine that our survivors would be on this side of that. Hamdan will be spotted and puked on immediately. You see the Achilles shattered there by the puke. Hamdan will be infected completely, and Jinxie is still also injured or broken by the puke, and Ducky now has the pool of the Corrupt Purge available. He knows that our survivor must neutralize each generator. 1 is progressed and 2 still infected, so survivor could not have left it too long ago. And oh, hello, completely blended in light. Did you see them there? I didn't.
I didn't know.
Yes, yes, dude, that's demolished. Amazing. We see the hit through the window. That was I think it was a 3-second down on Hamdan there. Absolutely bonkers by Ducky. Beautiful. Love seeing that. That's also one thing that Obi always goes for whenever you play with that noise. So I just love seeing that pull up successfully. That's a clip for the ages, man. That was beautiful.
This was from instant dodge to instant down.
No, that is a violation, though. No.
That was mean, I take it back.
Understandable ability now. But yeah, you see our survivors are still trying to pull it together and recover from it. No, that was too good. But yeah, Hamdan still has not been picked up, so our survivor might go from instant down to instantly picked up very soon if anyone goes up. You know, that's actually a really good build-up for any type of joke. But yeah, we still have a pallet in the middle available. Finesse is trying to finesse his way around the pallet drop. They're really building something with these names, aren't they? You know, we have the Dead Future, now we have the instant one, now we have the Finesse. Couldn't be better, really. Ducky manages to secure the 2 slug now, and 2 generators remaining. Jinxie, last man standing, manages to pick up Hamdan, who is once again the free man and may run around as he pleases. Still difficult for them to reach any sort of generators here, as Ducky has full control over the map.
Yeah, that's now again a dead Future. I'm not stopping with my jokes. I'm warming up, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, it's going to look really, really tricky here. We want to have the best possible win condition for trial number 10 that is coming up right after this one. We would really love to see that Future taking a set point and bringing it to a 4-1 here, because as we said in the previous break, we would really, really like to see the reward for that Future's fighting, for the entertaining gameplay, for the good ideas. But it will be hard with a win condition like this. We really want to make sure that we get at least 1 additional generator in, because with a 3-gen to play around, especially on the Suffer Pit as Plague, you can make something happen. Then you can go for a tie in the final trial, would be great as well here, but we definitely need another gen here. So we can only hope that Hamdan from instant dodge, from instant down to instant done on the generator. But if that's going to be the evaluation of Hamdan tonight, that's something we will need to find out in the near future. Future here. Hamden is on the generator though, but he's going to go for a basement. Right, instant done with the jokes. Yeah, understandable. That's why Jinxie is now back to being the focus right here. Hopefully going for a longer chase. That Future needs it, and Hamden needs the time to put it into the generator on the top side. We are doing some patience gaming right here, dropping the pallet late. Hamden, however, is going for the cleanse, so potentially we also see the setup for an end game play here, and then their killer will try to match it with a 4K2, and then since the other team, or since Hamden potentially escaping with the hatch and the other team won't, then they could take the win that way. That would also be a possibility here. However, Jinxie with a pretty good run so far.
Which is now ended, exactly. Yeah, Ducky has been able to pull through quite consistently with his killer performances and has been able to get incredible results with his killer 4K2 again. That is huge for play, and we see the slightest bit of scratch marks, and it could only be Hamdan as he's the last man standing. Here's the Neo's walking his way all the way over to Leo. He has a very unsafe point now, drops it, takes another load off the vomit, and is most likely already about 80 to 90% infected now. There we go, all the way through the broken status effect applied, and now Ducky, all he needs to do is to land the M1, no more head on this time. Never mind, he's going to go for the corruption ingestion, and tries to get a bit of a mind game running on name building, that one that sometimes actually does work out if the Slimer doesn't pay full attention, especially now with the Corrupt Purge would be able to snipe survivors from all around the main building here. But we see that Hamdan prepared quite well for any type of surprise play and did not work out for Ducky. Doesn't manage to get the doesn't manage to catch our survivor off guard and manages to leave main, and now it's all about running out a plague purge on a TL, which is quite a challenge in itself, and it's very much yeah, exactly. He was trying to go for a risky play here. All he realistically had going for him, the Jiggy did not work out unfortunately, and Ducky will catch him the moment Hamdan tried leaving the tile, and that is going to cement it on or render this game's results as a 4K on 2 generators remaining. And apparently at the end of Scrim Night we take forces from Capture Play against Direwolf, so hope you're ready for your killer to come in clutch.
No, I'm not.
Well, but you have to anyway now. It's set in stone, Dire. It's a rule.
My play time on killer is, I mean, I almost reached... Yeah, most of the killers I actually need to buy. I mean, with all the tournament watching, I accumulated in the past 8 years, I believe, almost 10,000 hours, and let it be 500 on killer. I never play killer and get it demolished by the behavior bots. Earlier, we were setting up the test stream, we were setting up the producer, and we were inviting 4 bots and me as killer. And then the producer disconnected. I finished playing the game, and these bots fucking swearing on Twitch. Sorry. These bots demolished me. They absolutely demolished me. I don't know. I do think the bots are cheating though, because they know exactly where you are. Yeah, we are done.
Well, yeah, they actually do, as a matter of fact. And so that's why bots are actually incredibly strong in place. Whenever someone else DCs, that's the only thing they're good at. Because they always have perfect distance from you. That's actually a thing, you can't mind game them either, it's impossible. You just leave them alone because they never do gens.
Next Scrim Night, we will just make Zaka versus behavior. And we put Zaka against 4 bots.
They don't do gens.
True, that's the problem. Okay, but yeah, I will jump on killer to get demolished if that's the case. But before that, we have trial number 10 between Dead Future and Misery, and we would really love to see that Dead Future, as we said, takes the set, at least a tie, because they really deserve this success towards the end. They are playing really, really great. However, I feel like I need a little break again for my voice. I don't know how Mathis feels, but a little break would be great here before we jump into the final trial.
I can solo the break too.
All right, then have fun with masses.
That's my responsibility now. Hello, everybody. Give me some people happies in chat. Yeah, you lamel that. Dyer, let him take his break. I've got my... Oh yeah, that's one thing. Everybody need to step up your hydration game here. So, what you need to invest in is a decent jug or decent water container. I've got my 2-liter container right in my hand right now. So what I do every night is I fill this up to the brink with what I also filter myself even. I even go the extra mile or just take any clean water that is good to drink. You fill that up 2 liters, then you take a fresh lemon, you take off 2 slices from it, and you cut it down in the middle again so you get 4 halves of a slice. And then you put all of those in the jug as well. And if you want to optimize it even further, you can also take a salt sprayer and then you twist it only about 2 to 3 times, since you don't want the taste of salt in it. But it's just good for your electrolytes. And then you have that in there, let it sit overnight, and then next day you just try to drink all of that throughout the entire day. And I've been doing this now for like 2 weeks, and it gives you so much more energy. And yeah, so hydration, sleep, anyway, the biggest game changer for also if you do a lot of sports. I do, for example. So this is indisputable. You must commit time to your health, and that will also make you a better comp player since you can focus on it. Focus better, and you're always at your A game. It's not just about physical fitness, it's also about mental, and that translates to DBD skills also. So yeah, if you want to join Orboy, you need to drink, bro. Not alcohol, water. Only get water, get alcohol out. I've never drank a drop in my life. Would you believe that? You probably won't, but I'm being dead serious. Water, and you can also have Coca-Cola on the side. That's fine too. Or tea. Tea's also recommended. You don't need anything else, trust. What's Shad up to? I'd suggest a metal water container. Yeah, is metal also great for... I mean, one for hygiene as well, since it doesn't... I don't think it's molds as plastic would, for example. But it's also heavier to carry around. If you carry a 2-liter jug around filled with water, that's the weight of the 2 liters inside plus the metal, so that can be quite annoying to carry around. But yeah, and also in the metal container you can also put tea in, or just hot water, and that'll keep it warm for several hours. I've never used many of them, so maybe even for the entire day. Who knows? Also, closing and unloading in. Got Jinxie on the killer, G-Bot, Abby, Ducky, and Cheese back on the survivor side. As Dead Future is now hammed on with their survivor games. You know, the puns just keep pouring in. Math is on no vodka strike.
Back.
I don't even know what that tastes like. I've not drunk it before. I mean, I don't even know what alcohol tastes like in general. Hello, Dyer. No, wait.
Hello.
I messed it up. Say you're back again.
I'm back.
Hello, back. I'm Mathis. The obligatory joke.
No comment. No comment on that one.
Nah, look, I'm getting a giga chat and shit. Nah, don't do me like that, man. Yeah, look, I get another BKWJR is giving us another frowny face after the jokes were hammed on. I just got another joke. What do you call it if you're roasting beef in the oven, Dyer? What do you call that?
What?
If you've got beef in the oven and it's ready to be taken out, what do you call it? It's ham done. Ha.
Nice. Nice.
Don't give me that. That's our producer doing that. I don't think that's Dyer doing it. Look, this is what's going on.
Oh god. No, I'm losing my shit.
Black Hop them!
Oh Jesus.
That's exactly why I don't want to go on break.
Yeah,
look, we're losing hundreds of views by the second because my jokes are so good.
This is DBDLeague behind the scenes. So on weekend you always see this very structured stream. Everything is falling into place.
Nice, yeah.
The scenes look so good, etc. And then on during the week you realize who's actually behind the scenes. Okay, let's go. Jinxie on the plague, Ducky, Gbot, Abby, Cheese, win condition to 4K on 3 gens remaining. That is a very tall task. So Jinxie better speeding it up. We do see some infections right here. Would be good if we find the first survivor as quick as possible here to get into the chase, scouting a little bit, but it seems like Misery is bringing back a very old strategy from 3 years ago, hiding out corrupt intervention. A very dangerous strategy, because whenever your survivor is found before corrupt intervention expires, you have no gen progress so far, yet you are facing infections or injuries or even worse. But whenever it works out, then it's a very successful strategy. Gbot though, putting hands on the totem, that means we're going into the first chase, so the survivors of Misery should go for the generators now. Cheese vibing here at the water tower. Ducky now on a generator as well, vibing with the urban evasion there and trying to make it out, but realizes that he has enough time. Abby immediately fully infected. That's going to be rough. Winning the 50-50 on the pallet though. Good one right there.
That was amazing.
Very nice bouncing back towards the tier now. Abby choosing.
Well, not for long here, sadly, because this 50-50 was lost. And you know, that gives me a perfect opportunity to ask you this question. Do you have a favorite type of cheese? Now I'm seeing this name in the arena. Do you have a favorite type of cheese?
A favorite type of cheese?
Yes.
Nee.
Unbelievable. Well, mine's raclette for everybody who was wondering in chat. I bet you're thrilled about that.
Like, that is nice, but it takes too long. I'm impatient. I want to eat, and I have to wait 20 minutes to eat like 3 pieces of chicken. And then I have to wait 20 minutes again.
No,
I'm impatient.
I'm not talking about the, you know, the,
you talk about the cheese,
overall
but it
dish,
triggered...
I'm talking about the raclette cheese. Yeah, that's delicious.
It triggered the memories for me. Yeah, it's absolutely delicious. The cheese, I mean, I like sitting together too, but I don't want to eat.
I don't. Cheese fondue, yeah, but it also depends on what type you put in. Anyway, back to the game. We've already got Abby very close to the second stage, but the last second save will succeed by Ducky on the ace. Barely going to make it out alive as well, and one does not connect. Jinxie most likely not even committing for Ducky, was expecting the killer to vault right after and be blinded by the firecracker, but Jinxie instead just opts to run around. We see Ducky make it tons of distance here. Was that? I believe that was alive as well. So that's another drop off the pallet in the middle, builds up more distance from Jinxie, who's now forced to go back to the other side of the map as Discord is lagging out. Oh, well, we're back. Anyway, yeah, still has lots of gens to defend here, but I'm pretty sure our killer, or Ducky at least on the last one, had a lot more pressure at the start of the trial here, and Jinxie currently only sitting at 1 stage, was not able to force the second stage onto Abby, and yeah, all survivors are freely roaming around the map. No one's clearly in chase here. Ducky the only person. Jinxie tries to go for a snipe here, but he manages to dodge it just barely. Second time around as well, manages to now make it into Shaq. Also gets a very cheeky pallet drop here. If Jinxie had prepared that puke earlier, then that could have already been the down over Shaq pallet, but Jinxie did not expect Ducky to drop it that early and instead just go for the either just run around or go for a stun attempt to get the killer out of the ability. And yeah, with a Pentimento placed very early on, our survivors will know very well, or know exactly or anyway where the totem is and could already eliminate it from the trial. Extremely early on, Abby tries to crack the puke, while Jinxie has it well placed and drew a C into the air, so even if the survivor docks, it will hit regardless. And yeah, that's sort of the wasted potential by the Pentimento, the early placement. If Jinxie had got the down onto Ducky on Shaq, that would have been 1, a hill hook, and 2, it would have been the Pentimento right next to it. That could have been an easy camp out where the survivors practically can't do gens, as the slowdown is too tremendous with Pentimento. In the meantime, Ducky is outplayed on the Shaq window and vaults 3 times and dies on the 3rd as Jinxie barely manages to connect the instance lamp. around the corner, manages to get the down onto Ducky. That is only now the third stage of the game.
Third stage of the game is unfortunate because I do believe we will have some generators being cranked out in the distance. At least the third one is coming out, so the maximum achievement would now be a tie if we 4K it right here. But since we have Gbot, Abby and Cheese kinda able to spread across the generators, I'm afraid that the fourth generator will come out very, very soon here. That would seal the deal into a 5-0 for Misery over that future. As said, on the one hand, super deserved for Team Misery, super strong team, super experience. On the other hand, that future played so well, and considering they are gaining experience at the moment and they are a growing team, very, very entertaining. But there it is, 5-0 for Team Misery here in this show match. Very, very well done. We will enjoy the final minutes of the game, and yeah, we will have one match against my killer after this for whatever reason. And so if you're interested in playing against me and zero staging me, very likely,
What are you gonna play
then boot up your I don't know.
Well,
Honestly, I don't know. I can.
no?
Yeah, wait, there's someone asking, can someone explain the rules? Hey, Carmen, welcome in. The rules work like this. We have two teams playing against each other. Killer of Team A against survivors of Team B, and then killer of Team B against survivors of Team A, and we compare them. First win condition is who got more gens. Second win con is who got the most stages, hook stages. And third is, if the hook stages are also the same, who got more individual survivors. And if all three win conditions are the same, so for example both teams got a 4K 1 gen remaining, then it's a tie. And then we would need to potentially come back to the set and replay it. That's how it works in DBD League. Gbot on the hook, now being unhooked. All 4 survivors broken though, and we pick up the power methods. Time for a Jinxie snowball.
Oh hell yeah, we're about to get the 4 slug in. And Dreamer, what do you mean, why am I nibbling on the mic? I haven't eaten in 2.5 hours, okay, I'm getting hungry. Anyway, yeah, we've got every single survivor injured, and the ability is absolutely here and ready to potentially get a complete upset in the later stages of the game. But so far only 1 survivor is in chase, and I can imagine that our survivors might as well just triple a generator on the other side of the map, despite the fact the incredible slowdown that you get from cooperating on generators past the double point. So with 3, pretty sure it keeps decreasing by 15%, so triple would only be 10%, wouldn't it be? Pretty sure it's quite obnoxious and basically not worth it ever, unless it's if anybody still remembers what I talked about with regards to that. Yeah, we see the ability is still up, but the ultimate generator pops, and there's nothing more else that our killer can really play around beside the hook. But that should very securely be 3 survivors escaping through the exit gate if they're not completely messed over by the gates going on. Yeah, exactly. We already get the open. That should be all survivors escaping, unless they make a bit of a cocky attempt at in the end game here and attempt to get all 4 out of the troll, which they do have plenty of resources for. So realistically, it's a yes. However, it is Plague, so all Jinxie really needs to do is play it incredibly patiently and just wait for someone to commit to the unhook animation and then just release the entire purge, or the vomit purge on that survivor and go for the 2-tap. And essentially keep forcing a trade. Plague gets quite powerful in these endgame scenarios, similar to what Legion is also capable of. Because usually he is quite underestimated as a killer. However, in endgame, there is no way you're saving. You can, if there's enough people around, you can just immediately hit all of them, and also you can immediately hit the person off hook and not go out of your ability. So as long as you don't double hit the first person by accident, and then everybody runs out, then you should always have everybody in the endgame, and you will 100% catch up to someone. And it seems like Elsewhere is also playing a very patient game that made sure everybody's healed. And now they'll try to set up for something. Now Ducky won't be allowed to sprint for very long because he's going to be immediately put into the position And now the situation gets incredibly stressful, and we just saw that Jason was peeking on the Eclipse Arena instead of the death by accident, so all of these survivors will not have even been on the 50% mark. Rewatch will be fully infected by now. Instead of Andy in the way over, these survivors should be infected now. And the launch gets cancelled. There is no way our killer got overconfident here and just spammed the 1 key. Or the lunge was just cancelled, maybe a case of fat fingering here. And that just allows our teams to fall out now. Unbelievable.
That's crazy. That's
I couldn't tell. Might have been.
Looked a little bit like it, but this is absolutely crazy what we are seeing here. Misery pulling the 3-4 out. Very, very nice. And that's going to seal the deal for the Scrim Night, at least in terms of the best of 5 that we have here. Misery with a 5-0. Dead Future and Misery, thank you so much for playing such an entertaining best of 5. We've seen a lot of great stuff. We've seen the head-on save. We've seen some snipes. We've seen some nice Billy, Doctor, Plague games. Absolutely great. Thank you so much. Big applause for both teams also being really, really prepared. So big thank you.